Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Just pay your dues, my friend. Take my medical news. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor.
Vejan Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vejan Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. So, before I took the break, I was just sort of warming up your spirit to consider with me the issue of cultural preservation and development, because as we leave the month of February, we want to be very purposeful in how we address issues continuing into the year. And we are in the year of Jamaica's 60th year of independence. Let's call it that. We've been flying our own flag for 60 years. And you will be seeing, no doubt, a lot of independence-related celebrations and discussions. And certainly it should be that way as we move more deeply into considering constitutional reform and law reform generally. A great effort has to be mounted to bring the cultural and social experience of the average Jamaican in line with the laws, the regulations, the policies that govern our lives in this country. It would be a very stressful and dysfunctional existence were it to be otherwise. Already we are seeing with the escalating levels of crime and violence that the society is not feeling that all is well. I think, as with any living organism, these signs of dysfunction reflect the state of ill health. So, Jamaica, land we love, is not healthy right now. And if we are to bring her into a state of good health, some serious work has to be done. And on the cultural side, I believe that is the foundation of all things. So Professor Rex Nettleford grappled with a question which continues to resonate today. He said the questions that must be asked are whose and what cultural values must be preserved, and for whom and what must they be developed. Such questions are the substance, if not the sum, of Rastafarian protests dating back to the 1930s and coming to a head in the late 50s and early 60s. By the late 60s, some intellectuals and young students saw the light, and the Mona campus became a cauldron of steaming protest, starting with the so-called Rodney Affair of October 1968 and culminating in the student capture of the Creative Arts Center in February 1970. So this is the 52nd anniversary of some radical activity on Mona campus. I do remember the Creative Arts Center. I wasn't there in the 70s, clearly. And just to remind, to teach those who did not know of it and to remind those who once fought for something what that was about. The Creative Arts Center was established in 1968 on the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies under the Vice-Chancellorship of the Caribbean poet historian Philip Sherlock. It was intended to help develop work of excellence in the arts and serve as a bridge between the campus and the community through practice of the arts. Student objections first started over the use of the facilities, especially the theater. They soon spread to cover questions about the relevance of the program of activities which some students and staff members regarded as too Eurocentric for a West Indian university. The occupation in February 1970 by students should be seen as part of the wider student protest dating back to October 1968. And there's reference to an article by Sylvia Winter, who asked, "Is the primary role and function of the university to be the maintaining of the high standards that they have borrowed from Europe? Or is it their primary role and function to respond to the needs and priorities of Caribbean society and through their response serve as a catalyst for new and relevant standards?" That question is echoing down the decades. It is still relevant today because I want you to just consider the role of the University of the West Indies. It is, for me, the most beloved institution of Caribbean integration and of a Caribbean personality. I am a graduate of the University of the West Indies, and when I understood the ideology behind its formation and its operation, I just kind of fell in love with my Caribbean community even more, because I think it is exactly institutions of that type that would bring us together and bring us to the point where we can be functioning as a community, CARICOM, Caribbean community. I believe in time to come, maybe even on this program, we will have a conversation about the failure or success of that vision. I am not giving it a passing grade just yet. I think the institution remains of primary relevance, and I believe it has a lot more to deliver in bringing us into a true Caribbean community. Questions such as arose over the future or the role of the Creative Arts Center continues to be developed, because we are still seeing too great a focus on Eurocentric approaches to the solution of problems in the Caribbean society, in the Jamaican society. And we are seeing more a declining relevance of the University of the West Indies. And when you see the university itself struggling in some financial areas, it does make you question how well they are doing in giving birth to the Caribbean community and in achieving the vision that was set for them when they first came into being. But that's, I have many thoughts concerning how and what we should do with the University of the West Indies. There is still a great need for a functioning bridge between the university and the Jamaican community. It is still too much the preserve of the privileged. It is still too purely academic in its focus. It has not addressed satisfactorily the need to monetize different aspects of our cultural output and in so doing create wealth for the nation. I didn't plan to say all of that. But on to the matter now of what are we preserving and for whom. The background to it is, of course, those who follow us online and are constantly reminding us of our African heritage will sort of catch this very quickly, because always from the start of independence, the issue on the table was, what is the natural identity of the newly emancipated Jamaican? Professor Nettleford thought that Jamaicans have a love for diversity that often overshadows many things. He says many Jamaicans do make a virtue of diversity, even at the risk of creating instability. The natural pluralism of Caribbean society may indeed be an overriding factor in the way that Jamaicans go about their business, or in the way that multiple institutions are created and played one against the other. Just consider what's been happening in the area of education. When I went through the Commission's report, probably about 4 or 5 pages are dedicated to the acronyms and the abbreviations for the many organizations, groups, committees that have been spawned in the sector. And really, if you talk about diversity, that's a place to look for it. Many groups doing different things. And in the end, what we get is a kind of competition and rivalry that frustrates our efforts to attain unity and sound administration of policy. So we create many institutions and then we play one against the other. In the area of security, you see too, MOCA, CTOC, those are just two. I remember when they had Kingfish, all kind of special operations, branches and groups, and your head would spin to know who you should call in your moment of distress, because there's a different strand to respond to so many things. And oftentimes we end up just playing one against the other and frustrating ourselves. Moreover, the best of all possible worlds are habitually pursued with zeal and an ardent sense of purpose. Jamaicans clearly have a preference for options. They would quickly opt for everything that can be had, both inside and outside of the revolution. That's the description which Professor Nettleford used in the 70s, and here we are 50 odd years later, and I don't think that much has changed. If you think it has changed, you can give me a call when we are speaking to discuss who we are really. Are we so in search of the new and the unique and the different that we oftentimes miss the opportunity to create something of value? The Caribbean artistic sensibility is liberally peppered with 19th century European notions about the very special individuality of the artist and about his uniqueness in the society, in the sense of his special grasp of and insights into the deeper meanings of existence. He must therefore be left free, goes the argument, to function according to the dictates of his own conscience, a position which few, if any, Caribbean artists would abandon lightly. And we still see it here, a very sort of fractured artistic community which continues to be so, because you dare not contaminate the artistic process by building unity or by working in groups or seeking to find common ground on any issue. The idea that art is so unique and so individualistic that any form of I would say, if you seek to organize it, you have tampered with and perhaps even destroyed its specialness. That kind of thinking, it is said here, has contributed to our inability to sufficiently create an industry. And that is the word. In order for you to have economic gain, you must have an industry. And in order for you to create an industry, there must be some common grounds and some areas around which people can congregate and work together. The universality of art is here argued as well, in defiance of the incontrovertible fact that the specificity of human, individual, or collective experience has a priority over the realization of universality. So, we typically do not want to subject art to any kind of subjective or moralistic scrutiny. We want art to speak a universal language that is understood in any society. And when we do that, we are immediately denying the relevance and the value of our individual experience. The experience of a child growing up in a farming community in the back of St. Anne cannot be the same as a child growing in the center of London, whether that child is on the street or in a privileged home. It cannot even be the same as the experience of a child growing up in a marginalized, poor community in an industrialized city center, whether it is in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, or it is in Port of Spain, Trinidad, or it is in Bridgetown, Barbados. The experiences are uniquely different, and the story they tell and the value of them is intrinsic to that experience. And so we cannot here argue that the universality of art is of greater priority to the uniqueness of our experience. And we cannot place our experience on the stage in comparison with the experiences of others and then find our experience lacking in value because we are sort of automatically trained to place greater values on the experiences of others. It is why, for example, our children will struggle in an education system that has its moorings in the experience of a different race, a different economy, different society, different historical context. And it is not to say that we must sort of return to a state of naturalness and start to create from nothing. We must be able to borrow the useful things from other societies without denigrating the value that we ascribe to our own experience. Continuing from Mr. Nettleford's thoughts, and this is here stated without wishing to deny the validity of the experience gleaned from contacts with the achievements of other civilizations, from personal reflections or even daydreaming. But when a Caribbean person, in the exercise of his creative imagination, shuts out his own indigenous experience rooted in the soil of the Caribbean, what he produces is not likely to earn him the status of prophet, visionary, guide, or artist to the Caribbean of today or to any other people at any time. We are, of course, celebrating those very powerful artists of yesteryear, some still with us: Jimmy Cliff, Bunny Wailer, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh. There are many tremendous artists who have been uncompromising in their voice and in their expression and have told the story as it is. And if you notice, a lot of them are Rastafarians. A lot of them. In fact, I'm trying to think. Well, Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs. I'm trying to think of some who are not Rastafarian. Welcome, Pastor Percival. I know you are great with the music. Give me some visionary musicians of importance who were not Rastafarians, whose tone and voice has been compromising, speaking of the African experience, not diminishing it in any way, and speaking powerfully of the greatness and the beauty of the African. Can't think of any.
Well, you see, our music has emerged coming out of our culture, which was a culture of, call it resistance to what mold people tried to put us into. And so most of the people who have continued in that trend are Rastafarian, whether they are showing it by looks or they are Rastafarian in their hearts, as some people say. You don't see the looks, but that's the belief that I hold. But then our music has been a mixture of different things. Like in the early days with Ska, they pulled something out of what was happening in the States and made it their own. So
you can't think of any either.
I can't think of any just straight off the bat.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it is a challenge, and I know that the listeners who are looking into the subject matter will, when they speak to us, they may have a name or two, and maybe it would only be maybe some religious artists, persons.
Because even in terms of some of the songs that come out of the church, because remember at some point in time, reggae music was not was not a part of the church tradition.
Was not considered fine music.
Yes, and I remember an incident. It's a true thing. Like dub poetry, I remember there's a big music festival that as young people look forward to. It was in National Arena, and these guys came up and were DJing, which is something that has come out of our culture. You know what happened to them?
They were put on the back bench?
Not the back bench. They were bottled.
Oh, okay.
Meaning, this is a gospel show. No, come off on the stage, and people start
that's not part of. That's not of God.
It wasn't there because people are rejecting. No, this is not gospel music, but it has emerged. Now, it happened with groups like Change and so on. They now recognize that it is something that a music that God has given to us, and we need to get, some people say, the pure form of it, because all music originates out of the heart of God.
All right. Much of the grand posturing of the unique artist who is to be left free of mundane obligations is reinforced by the tradition of class prejudice in colonial Jamaican society, with its manifestations of contempt for the creative output from the laboring classes through social pressure and the irreverence of the young, weaned from among the middle strata, do force the appropriation of the popular forms by the more privileged groups in the society. And we continue to see that. People from uptown Jamaica gone down into the streets to
Like the Raytown
observe, be entertained by, and to borrow some of what they see on the street and take it back into their homes. And we see it quickly wending its way into the more rarefied air of both the Jamaican upper class, and we see it in foreign too. We see it on cable being represented as something that is interesting when it has come from the streets of Jamaica. So it was back in the day. The street dances went to court, so the Queen would be entertained by what's going on in her, out in her empire. Dances from the streets of Jamaica, just as you would bring the drumming from Africa and so on. Street dances went to court, and the folk tunes found their way into the classics in Europe. So have reggae, mento, Rastafarian drumming, and style of painting wended their way from the ghettos and the hillsides into the Jamaican establishment. Now, we're talking here about cultural preservation and development. This inevitable process is fast becoming the accepted and anticipated way of harmonizing popular participatory democracy with cultural reality. And I mean, you will see even too on TV and elsewhere, you see advertisements, and you see the culture as expressed in the streets. You see it wending its way into the norms and the expressions of the upper and the middle class. But you do not see either economic inclusion being a part of the process, and you certainly don't see an embrace. You don't see Jamaica embracing those from below. There's no clear path to rising, though, of course, what you will see is that those performers who are producing by virtue of their earnings, those individuals will move. What you're not seeing is at that level any spreading of the wealth, so that, for example, a community that has produced a great performer or some great cultural expression, that community on a whole participates in the economic benefits from it. Whether a manager comes out of there, or promoter, or arts and craft develop around it that is based and centered in the community, and you see the community prospering as a result of the either the verticals or the horizontal benefits that derive.
You see some of it, but it is not widespread. It is what I often refer to as being a country of good, we make good samples. You see a sample of it, but you don't see it widespread. So
that's the point. Until it is widespread.
So that's what I'm saying.
It is not true participation.
Right. So I agree with you. I agree with what he's been saying.
What Professor Nettleford was describing here is that Jamaica has come to expect and to anticipate that the value of these cultural expressions will be expressed in the upper class. It will move up. Mm-hmm. But we are not opening a channel for concurrent movement.
But my question is, I hear that.
For a flow.
Yeah, but
that's one of the things that we would need to change.
But who opens the channel? Who opens the channel?
Capital. It's always capital. It's the responsibility of those with the resources to send it to the places that it's needed to create. So, for example, our 1660 initiative is a way of opening a channel for the knowledge, the experience, the resources that reside at an upper level to flow into the communities where it is needed.
Yeah.
So the responsibility always has to be the one who has the resources must be the one
But that is not
create
the
that
natural.
flow.
That's not how men naturally behave
No,
anyway.
but we are not natural men.
No, but that's the point I'm
That's
making.
why I am the one speaking up.
No, that's what but means. What I'm saying, our natural tendency is to be selfish, to preserve self. It is only people who have been enlightened and understand that I'm not going to take this with me anyway. When I am gone, that is it. So the legacy that I must leave must be a legacy that says that this person was generous, that this person made a way and pull other people
Let me
out.
finish this because we're close. We are turning the thing on its head. This is not, I'm sorry you missed the opening.
No man, I don't
This
like. I pick up what
Were
you've
you
been saying.
listening online?
No, because
on your way down?
No, because I'm.
Oh,
yeah.
let's not say it.
No, the car don't have
Let's
that.
not say it.
Car don't say it. Anyway.
The next car will have it.
Yeah. Prophesy, sister. Prophesy.
Absolutely. So what it's looking at what is and what used to be, and it is charting the course for what shall be, what must be. Nettleford was speaking in the 70s,
And it hasn't
this is
changed.
what
40,
it
50
was.
years on.
And 50 years later, we can still speak of it, and it has relevance today. But we must acknowledge it for what it is, see its limitations, and shift to that next position. As you know, when you open the channel to cause that flow, you will get a corresponding rising up, and the overall value will increase exponentially. So it's not, even though it is, as you say, it is against human instinct to give where there seems to be no immediate value.
No return on investment.
We know that once you've put in that investment, it gives back 100-fold. In light of this and the facts of history, the argument that a commitment to an indigenous cultural ethos is a vital necessity for building a nation or achieving national unity in Jamaica. And this has to be a priority before we can consider preservation and further development of cultural values in Jamaica. That was the conclusion of Mr. Nettleford in 1970. It is still true today. So we're taking our 7 o'clock break. When we come back, I will wrap up this area of it, and then, we'll move into the next segment of our program. Please stay with us.
We'll be right back.
The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, has a wealth of information that can help new and existing entrepreneurs grow their businesses. The only issue is that entrepreneurs have to either call or visit the JBDC office to access the help they need. But what if this information was available on demand at your fingertips? That's the goal of the JBDC's newly launched Entrepreneurship Weekly blog.
We want to get them thinking about a particular idea, a particular concept. We want to get conversations going around it. We want to spur them into action. And the ultimate goal, which is a common goal shared by everyone with an interest in business and the MSME sector, is growth. And growth for the entrepreneurs themselves, growth for their businesses, and ultimately growth for the Jamaican economy.
Corporate Communications Manager at JBDC, Suzette Campbell. She says the blog comes at an opportune time, as business owners are hungry for helpful information.
Particularly since COVID-19, there's a heightened need for awareness in terms of business development strategies and so on. People want to know what's going on. People are always online. They are on their mobile phones or their computers or their tablets, searching for information. And when they search for business development related issues, we want them to keep JBDC top of mind. We want them to not just Google, but to also come to the JBDC website at www.jbdc.net and find information relating to business development.
The information on the blog will be easy to understand, so entrepreneurs can apply the lessons immediately.
So, for example, we started with the topic entrepreneurship trends to look out for in 2022, part 1, which went into issues such as digital marketing, the fact that more than ever entrepreneurs need to heighten their visibility online through digital marketing strategies. We also took a look at booming industries.
The weekly blog will also complement the suite of training workshops offered to entrepreneurs.
Training comes in various forms. It doesn't have to be a workshop. A blog is a form of training. It is knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing is big globally, and JBDC takes its role in that process very seriously, because we do have several business development experts in the organization who are experts in product development, market access, research, business canvassing, and so on.
Entrepreneurs can look forward to new articles on the blog every Monday, and access is free to the public.
We have some interesting topics coming up looking at, for example, the Jamaican Entrepreneurs Startup Pack, the 5 lies small business people tell themselves, the case for agro-processing in Jamaica, so you'll see that it is serious and pertinent information, but with a lighter, more palatable twist. And the persons who are subscribed to our mailing list will get it automatically when it's released.
The articles will also be shared on the JBDC's social media pages.
If they follow us on LinkedIn, they will find the articles over there as well. LinkedIn is not just a place for job searching anymore. And we recognize that entrepreneurship is as good a career as any. And so JBDC is taking its place in that space and making its mark on LinkedIn. So you'll find these articles on there on a weekly basis, as well as other information about entrepreneurship that takes a spin as it relates to career development.
Corporate Communications Manager JBDC, Suzette Campbell. So, while you're building your business, be sure to add the JBDC's Entrepreneurship Weekly blog to your list of go-to resources whenever you need to stay up to date with the latest business development trends. To access the blog, visit jbdc.net.
The countdown begins. 2022 will be extra special. Reigniting. It's going to be big.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM, keep listening.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all, you can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
The best 100 FM.
The Aeronautical School of the West Indies presents Squawk 876, a fun and informative program where you will learn about flying, aircraft systems, weather, maintenance, and much more. Tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Half a tree. One already, 200. Ready, mama? Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Just pay your dues, my friend. Take my medical news. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh,
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
See, good morning and welcome back. So, we're together now, Pastor Percy and I. He is preparing to bring us into the throne room. I am preparing to bring us into the theater of war.
Theater of war, no. But into the throne room takes you into the presence where war happens in the heavenlies.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I knew it was complementary activity.
Yeah, you know, as we reflect on the presentation you were making in regards to culture and the impact of it on cohesion within a society. That's how you would put it.
Yes.
It's important that we understand that every good thing comes down from the Father of above, who gives us these gifts. And culture is part of that, because culture in its real sense is an expression of who you are as an individual, and remembering that every single person has been created in the image and likeness of God. So which is why when you go around the world, you see expression of cultures that makes you smile. And it reminds me in the end when we get to heaven and it says all nations, people from every kindred, tribe and tongue. Can you imagine that worship experience? Can you just think about the worship experience that is happening at the very throne room? And worship happens through your culture. Go on, my dear lady. Just wanted to put that in.
Well, of course, once you start to speak, I said, what really was the first artistic expression ever? And it's the spoken word.
Yes. Yeah, worship.
Yeah.
Good.
We are told of creation that God spoke his creation into being.
Yeah.
So the first creative output from our uncreated creator
right,
was an expression of word. He spoke into being.
I know there's a art form called the spoken word.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're late to the party.
Yeah. Very late.
That is the original art form, really. So, to wrap up, I am borrowing from the words and the thoughts of Professor Rex Nettleford, who was a favorite of mine, hands down favorite of mine, because and the reason he was a favorite of mine, may I just say, he had the finest intellect, and it did not stop him from dancing and choreographing and creating. Many times people think that intellectual folks are boring and stale in the imaginative department, and few of us recognize that great artistry comes from a refined intellect. Jamaica is paying for that bit of ignorance. We tend to think that the dancehall artists and those who are creating from the streets, we tend to think that they are illiterate, uninformed, and lacking in civility. We don't find a way to relate to their creative expressions and see the value and the beauty in it. And then if you look at what happens in, say, North America, take, for example, someone like, I'm going to say Jay-Z, because his hairstyle is still just ringing a bell in my head. Take someone like Jay-Z. Or take even, to say his name properly, you got to get into the mood. So if I say 50 cents,
yeah, man,
I'm going to evoke laughter. Take 50 cents. Did I get it? These are men from, let's say, the streets, in the sense that they're not Ivy Leaguers. And Jay-Z might be a secret Ivy Leaguer. But I know the other one isn't.
Creative, and he has used his
but
creative to make
look
money
what
for
these
himself.
men have done. They've come out of with their street music. They transit they transitioned from performers into promoters and producers. Then they became international brands. Then they got into business, and they are powerhouses in the business. We frustrate our artists from making that kind of transition. When I remember, what's his name, Leroy Russell, Vibes Cartel, we see one path for them. They become famous in one way or another. They have popularity in the street, and somehow they end up being corralled. And I am saying corralled. They end up being corralled into a place of violence and antisocial behavior, and then we have a prison lined up for them, and there's one now lying in the hospital who may not even survive. Pastor Percy is showing me that Jay-Z is currently worth 1.4 billion United States dollars. They exist in a society that has created opportunities for them to break out. On the other hand, we have our performers in some kind of box at the bottom of the ladder, where when they do things that are cute, we borrow it and bring it up the line, but we create no opportunities for them to break out. And that's what's on my mind this morning, that those in Jamaica who have the resources and the wherewithal to create these opportunities, to open these channels, we take it, we dominate it, we squeeze the juice out of it. We can't create a single thing, you know. We are just constantly pulling from below until we exhaust and frustrate them. And against that background, I look at what Jamaica National is seeking to do. They are bringing together industry professionals to talk reggae development. And I'm going to read this as it came to my spirit. It's a conversation we believe we are positioned to lead. How is Jamaica National positioned to lead a conversation on this subject matter?
I guess
we do suffer internally from the same kind of appropriation of cultural output that exists on the larger scale, where we see things Jamaican on TV in different countries, and Jamaica gets no benefit from it.
But they say they believe because they are trying to age-old challenge of marketing Jamaican artists for the international reggae stage, music ownership, and royalties.
Speaking to your mic.
Well,
listen, I'm not throwing shade at what Jamaica National is doing in and of itself.
Yeah.
What I would like is for them to be very conscious and careful of the fact that if they place themselves in a position of leadership in the conversation, it should be for the purpose of channeling resources into the sector to grow it. It's not to take it over. It's not to do what so many others do and overwhelm it with either a kind of structure and an approach that separates the artist from the value of his output. So he's like a cow giving milk. You know, the cow gets no benefit from giving milk. When we take the milk and humans consume it, we don't send back anything to the cow.
Really?
We don't. Same like bees and honey. You take the output and it enriches your life going forward, and what you might do is create a dairy farm or and there's no value that goes back to the
So what I'm hearing
no different from enslavement.
What I'm hearing you say, my dear sister, is that you are glad that somebody is saying that there needs to be recognizing what you're saying, that there's an outlet and there need to be a framework, because some of the times these artists
I'm not saying that.
What? But I'm putting that on the table.
Okay,
I'm putting that on the table.
Okay, you're saying that.
I'm putting that.
Right.
I'm trying to
worries.
give them the benefit of the doubt, because they're recognizing, yes, we have this cultural art form that really has not broken into what it should be in terms of the resources and the wealth coming back to the people who are the creator. Because when you look at Jay-Z making 1.4 million, his net worth being billion dollars, he understood what he need to do in order to make it work for him as an individual. What I'm hoping is that Jamaica National, which is a Jamaican company, true and true, is saying, we want to set up a framework for everybody who is involved in the industry to, as Jamaicans say, eat a food coming to the wealth that exists within it. And for them to break into the international market, they have to understand how it works.
Well, there is no shortage in Jamaica right now today.
Yeah.
There is no shortage of Jamaican entertainers and professionals who know how it works.
Really?
There is no shortage of it. You know that. We sit with Maxine. We've been sitting with her for 3-4 weeks going now. There's no shortage of it. What is lacking is the capital to allow those with the knowledge to participate hands-on in getting the structure alive and creating an industry out of it. Why I am saying to Jamaica National, be very careful in how you're proceeding, is because this is what they're doing. They talk about the shuttering of the industry, but I'm going to read to you who they're bringing together. The Reggae Symposium will feature presentations from international professionals such as management mogul David Miller, former Def Jam, Sony Music and Atlantic Records executive, who has worked closely with superstars such as Jay-Z, Bruno Mars and Mariah Carey. Miller has been steadily developing some of the biggest urban acts into global superstars for the last 20 years. They're going with...
marketing.
No, I'm moving on from Miller to Christy Barber, Grammy-nominated music producer Christy Barber, who will be speaking to participants on the topic, Want to Win a Grammy? The Steps Towards International Recognition. Barber has been co-chair of the Reggae Grammy Screening Committee for 12 years and has served as president of the Marley family-owned labels Tough Gong and Ghetto Youths International while at Def Jam Universal. She has produced music for Jay-Z, Pharrell and Damian Jr. Gong Marley and has also held positions. She's also a former vice president of marketing at VP Records. Minister of Culture, Entertainment, Gender and Sport, Oliver Grange, will lead off discussions on the evening with a look at creating a framework for the growth of our music. And then JN Group Brand Ambassador Agent Sasco, entertainment lawyer Ron Young, Hugh Reed, General Manager of JN. All right, that is sort of the lineup. And the only reason I mention it is that in Nettleford's commentary, some attention was given to the appropriation of the cultural output of the lower class by the middle and other classes, and off it goes. The group that produces it, the laboring community that produces it, is left estranged from the process. And it is the process that creates value.
Okay.
The lineup that I see here is another move towards the same kind of divorce. You have the children down there, give them to me, I will take them to the world. And you continue to be down there as a kind of broodmare. Do you know what a broodmare is? You do? You have good farming knowledge, man.
I know what a broodmare is.
Right. And I see a perpetuation of the same, and I'm concerned
that you're
about
getting
it.
in terms of, all right, but all right, okay. We agree that one of the challenges is that the knowledge is agreed position that the knowledge is not there that enables the producers to earn rewards from it. What would you suggest in regards to this? And in terms of, all right, put in two things.
Yeah. Well,
what would you suggest?
You see the 1660 idea of creating capacity within communities and nurturing it to grow. It's just one template. You know, it is the template that was used to create a nation out of a group of ex-slaves. It's the same template. You must build it from within. And you who have the resources outside, your job is to place it into the womb, into the cradle, into the egg. Wherever you are seeking to create wealth and to grow it, you have to make that injection. You don't pull out what you want from the nest and go off to build elsewhere. There's only one template for successful organic growth. You have to put something within. It's how we were created. Our Creator made us with something within. and we must nurture it and give it full expression. If we're looking on and seeing a nascent industry needing shaping guidance, we have to put something within and let it
only
flourish
capital?
and grow.
Is it only capital?
No, it's
okay. That's what I'm asking. What are the inputs outside of the capital?
You won't get a full answer from me on that. There are many experts who can give you that.
All right then. Okay. I'm just asking, because so we speak. I'm just saying now. We understand that those are the issues. So the question now is what it is that we need to apply. You talk about capital. What are the other things that we need to put into that mix that will move it forward, that it becomes really ours? That the bottom line is that everybody, I'm hearing you saying that everybody must flourish, my word flourish, must prosper from their own input and thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yesterday, as we spoke about how to create your own community-based organization, I did not know that in the paper was an article on what's been happening in Denham Town.
Yes,
using the
I
same.
saw it.
Using the same.
Zozo.
No, the European funding mechanism that we spoke about with JSIF for poverty eradication. So I wanted to mention it today because this article went into some detail of what has been. There's a breakdown of the resources that have been put into Denham Town. So it is to give you an idea of what has gone into Denham Town, but the main reason I am looking at it is to identify, if we can, the extent to which we are seeing signs of success. 6,178 residents have benefited from a certain level of investment in this community. The zone of special operation is not just a policing and law enforcement exercise. Concomitant with that effort is some degree of infrastructure and social investment. Denham Town is a case study. 6,178 residents have been beneficiaries of 7.8 kilometers of roads paved and completed. So when I said that communities can look at the infrastructure and make a project out of it and advocate for this level of investment, Denham Town received it. 1,020 households are now receiving water lateral pipes. What are those?
You move the
standpipe.
You put it into the person's house.
Oh.
So instead of using a standpipe, you make a connection to the water that.
So 1,020 households receive running water
inside of the house now, right?
96 households have gained access to NWC sewage treatment. 1,338 students have benefited from Denham Town safe passages. I take it they are able to move.
That happened in the Maxfield Park area.
Yeah.
So what they do is put signage, pave sidewalks, put up railings, so the children don't run out into the road and that. That's what
what the safe passage is. It includes our school, Edward Seaga Primary School.
Yes, right. So when you go, you see before the sidewalks weren't done, so they have paved them, they have put up railings, they have the personal guard, so you know that it is an area that children are running up and down in.
All right. 750 residents of Pink and Chestnut Lanes are to benefit from water and a sewage rectification project. Expansion to the school buildings to include early childhood development school and a primary school.
They just add some
rehabilitation of the Denham Town police station. So you who have your police station where termite eat it down and you're struggling to even have a decent place for your policemen to operate from, that can be your project. On the social investment side, they've given benefits to 1,062 individuals. It includes 48 enterprise grants, 137 livelihood participants, which is training and skills development, 654 residents received their birth certificate. So even something like that, if in your community you know that
significant people don't have a
people are not properly documented, don't have birth certificate, don't have TRN. They have trained 28 curfew monitors. So this now is self-regulation occurring at the community level. 75 environmental workers trained and employed. Not sure what they do, but still,
I can tell you what
you
they
can
do,
get
'cause we had a
training.
similar program.
What they do? What do environmental workers do?
Make sure that they put in
Pick up
skiffs.
garbage.
Yeah, put in skiffs and ensure that people are using them and they are cleaning the areas properly. And they understand what they do.
300 students are benefiting from summer camp activities. So if you've noticed that the kids in your neighborhood don't have nothing to do after school and during
summer.
holidays, you can
Apply.
create a project that does something in that area. Now,
But
I'm
can I
not
say something
hearing.
to you?
Go ahead, my brother.
A lot of these things that they have done in so I'm wondering if they're double counting.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
maybe. But the fact of the matter is, when you listen to the kinds of benefits, you must be able to see something that you could borrow from and do in your community. Those activities were funded with the help of European Union partners, but overall, upwards of $100 million has been spent within the zone so
100
far.
million US dollars or 100 million Jamaican?
Must be Jamaican.
I'm just being facetious.
No, yeah. One of the strategies we are using in the zones of special operations is to improve the assets of community resources. That is a statement, I guess, from someone whose name I'm not picking up readily. But I thought I'd share it with you because we're talking about recapturing communities as a part of what we do with our 60 and 60. And it's very much in the vein of what needs to be done and what has been recognized as a need. It's been addressed in Denham Town. What is the current profile of Denham Town? Has it changed? And this is not a project that started, last month, or some of these initiatives were
underground already.
Underground and
even before
has taken some time. I remember the rehabilitation of the police station. That was a big one. We're not reaping the fruit of it yet, but I dare say it's early days. Still, I believe that we can get much better results from these kinds of initiatives when they come out of the community's own efforts and yeah.
Touch me, sister.
You want a high five?
Yes, touch
yeah.
me, sister. Touch me, sister. That is what it is about.
Yeah.
If it's going to be sustained, that is what it must be
So
about.
as we motivate you to look within and come up with your project and start your own thing, I declare that it will be abundantly successful with way less than $100 million.
Because our project, we own it.
Yes.
We own it.
All right, it's time for a break, and then when we come back, we're shifting into that higher space. All right, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2¼ Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3, believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time on shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling her, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM, keep listening.
Melody in our voice. Kemisha plays the music nice. Melody in our voice. Kemisha full of vibes. Best FM run the town. Yes, I run the town, hear me loud and clear. They run the country and the town, or the far and near. Bless the love into to Empress Kemisha on Best FM, and it's all about the reset, you know. Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on Best FM. Keep it locked. This is Warrior King, the Black Emperor. Come on, tune in.
Greetings. Bitter Sugar returns to Best FM. Wednesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Tune in as we put forward Bitter Sugar. Yes, your host, Brother Miguel Lorne, as we ride. This is education, African fundamentalism, purity of the race, self-reliance, repatriation. These are topics we're going to go into. Tune in, Best FM, as we put forward Bitter Sugar once more.
Isn't it strange how princesses and kings?
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning to you as we come to do our usual prayer, and I'm continuing to thank my brother who suggested it to us a long time ago, and it has become a staple. And we've actually seen, in terms of what we've been praying about, what we've been declaring, we've seen it being manifested in the society in terms of change and what we're saying, even the declarations, and that has become a staple of what we do and say in regards to what we do and say here at the program. So I invite you to continue to engage with us, but not only engage with us, engage with your God in terms of agreeing with us, because it says if two or more agree touching anything, God is in the middle of what we are doing. And you've been hearing me quoting Isaiah 40 and verse 31, and that is a theme, that they that wait up on their God shall renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagle. They'll run and not be weary. They will walk and not fear. And so we continue to beseech, go into the very throne room and say, God, you got to do something. We're standing upon your word for this nation. And so may the hosts of heaven arise with us every single day and fight on our behalf.
Jehovah is your name. Jehovah is your name. Jehovah is your name. Jehovah is your name. Mighty warrior, great in battle, Jehovah is your name. Mighty warrior,
Jehovah is your name. We bless your name, God. Jehovah is your name. You alone are worthy, Jehovah. Jehovah is your name. You are a mighty warrior. And you're great. Jehovah.
Gather together and come, assemble you fugitives from the nation. Ignorant are those who care about idols of wood, who pray to gods that cannot save. Declare what is to be presented. Let them take counsel together. Who foretold this long ago? Who declared it from the distant past? Was it not I, the Lord? And there is no God apart from me, a righteous God and a Savior. There is none but me. Turn to me and be saved, all you ends of the earth. By myself I have sworn, my mouth has uttered in all integrity a word that will not be revoked. Before me every knee will bow, by me every tongue will swear. They will say of me, in the Lord alone are deliverance and strength. All who have raged against him will come to him and be put to shame. But the descendants of Israel will find deliverance in the Lord and will make their boast in him. And so, God, we continue to declare over this nation that you are our God. You are our God. You are a God of righteousness, of justice, of mercy, and truth. And we declare that over Jamaica land we love. We thank you that even now a shift has happened and continue to happen in the 7 pillars of our nation. The 7 pillars of our nation. In governance, in justice, in education, in entertainment, in industry. The pillars of our nation that cause us to thrive and to flourish as a nation. And today we declare over this nation that crime and violence will decrease and will continue to decrease. We speak to the principalities and the powers behind, but we speak today to the heart of men in this nation, because only if the hearts are changed will we begin to see a change and a shift in terms of corruption. And so we speak, Lord, to the nations, to the princes of this nation, and we make a declaration today again.
We decree and we declare that every Jamaican man, woman, child shall increase in knowledge of self and of the one true God, such that the divine creative power to prosper and excel shall be unlocked in this generation and for generations to come. We decree and we declare that the hearts of our leaders and their bowels of compassion be opened to hear the cry of the people and to respond with love, generosity, and respect. We decree and we declare that the ordinary men and women in communities across this land will become families that work together in harmony to assure the well-being of all members, giving special care to our children, our elders, our women, and those with disabilities of any kind.
We decree and declare, indeed, from Negril Point to Moran Point, a tsunami of love is emerging across this nation, that men and women will truly care for each other, that indeed we will become our brothers' keepers. And we decree and declare that out of that tsunami of love, that indeed economic prosperity and well-being will become a reality for every Jamaican, that it will not only be for those who are in the top 10%, but for all Jamaicans, that indeed things like the minimum wage will really become a livable wage for every Jamaican in this society because of shared prosperity in this nation. We decree and declare that a revival is breaking out in terms of us returning to tenets of our nation, in terms of our founding fathers. And we decree and declare that because of this tsunami of love and care, that crime and violence is going down. That we'll respect life because we fear God. We will choose not to be corrupt because we fear you, Father. We choose to not kill our brothers because of the almighty dollar. that the love of money will not drive us, or the love of mammon. We decree and declare over this nation, as you have said in Psalms 89 and 14, that righteousness and justice are your throne, that indeed mercy and truth go before you. We decree and declare over our nation that indeed all nations of this world will come to this country to see what you are doing, because there's been a change and a shift in our heart. We thank you that indeed the scourge of COVID has been broken. We see in terms of what has happened with the removal of the restrictions and the opening up of schools and businesses, because indeed we thank you, God, that Jamaica is rising again to become a shining star, not only in the Caribbean, but in the rest of the world. And we decree and declare that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole nation. Let the hosts of heaven come down and fight for us. We come against strongholds. You know them, Father. We come against them and we destroy them. We send the fire of God against them. And indeed we will see what you are doing when the gangs are destroyed and the powers behind them are destroyed and are exposed, that indeed the light of God is going and exposing the darkness, the underbelly of this nation. We decree and declare that Jamaica indeed is rising up, rising up, rising up, rising up, rising up, rising up out of darkness, because the light of God has come.
I don't know who you are, and I don't know where you are, but God said to tell you, it's already done. My friend, you're coming out. You're coming out. God is speaking. I see you wondering why me, in the midst of your adversity. God is speaking. But if you dare trust in me, I will supply all you need. I will take you over. I will take you over. I will never leave. To you I will cleave. I'm standing right there in the midst of your fear. I will be your brother, man. Stay close to me, my son. It's already done. It's already done. The victory is won. It's already done. I will not die here, even though I've cried here. The victory is won. It's already done. Ryan, I often ask why me, why they took my family. Falling on my shoulders, yes, I fall on my knees. Whoa, Lord, take me over. Please take me over. Please do not leave. To you I will cleave. I know that you're right here, standing in my days. You are my Father. Stay close to me, Master. It's already done. It's already done. You said it's done, then it's already done. I will not die here, even though I've cried here. The victory is won, 'cause you said it's won. I'm running, but sometimes I don't feel like running. Keep pressing, though sometimes you don't feel like pressing. Keep your eyes on me, will you trust in me? I will be with you to the end. It's already done, it's already done. The victory is won, it's already done. I will not die here, It's already done.
You're gonna get over this.
I will not die here.
Don't give up.
Even though I'm crying.
With Christ, you're more than a conqueror. Finish well. My brother, Ryan Mark.
Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow weary or tired, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. The power of the weak.
And I repeat the declaration for our 60 in 60 initiative. I decree and I declare that the ordinary men and women in communities across this land will become families that work together in harmony to assure the well-being of all members, giving special care to our children, our elders, our women, and those with disabilities of any kind.
Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They'll soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And so, Father, we declare rising in every community in this nation. We have said 1660, but indeed there are 63 constituencies. And so we declare that in every constituency there is a rising, there's an uprising of persons who are taking responsibility for themselves, for their families, for their communities, for this nation. We thank you indeed as they come up with their projects in terms of lifting up their communities, that they'll not grow faint or despair, but they will wait on you, because indeed in that way you will renew their strength and you'll cause those programs to become sustainable, to bring about real change and progress in our nation. We give you thanks. We give you thanks for what you continue to do in this nation, for the light is rising up. The darkness is being dispelled in every nook and cranny, in every area that people are seeking to hide and to do their deeds of evil. Let your light shine. Let exposure continue to happen. Let hearts continue to be changed to fear you, the one true and only God. That indeed, as Christ declared, you cannot serve God and mammon. Cause every man, every woman, every child, every person in this nation truly to serve you and to fear you. And indeed, in that process, we see the change beginning to happen. A tsunami of love, of respect, of honor rising up in our nation. We give you thanks even now. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. So we just continue, Lord, just to thank you for what you're doing. We are seeing the sparks. We're seeing the sparks. We're seeing the sparks. But we see a fire of love spreading across this nation, a fire of love and care. And out of that will arise the revival, the change, the common flourishing and prosperity that will happen in this nation. We give you thanks. We give you thanks. We give you praise. We give you honor indeed, because you are good and great and awesome. You watch it in the affairs of men, and even as it said in Daniel, that indeed you are watching and you speak the things. So we thank you. We thank you. We give you thanks. We give you praise. We honor you in our nation today.
All right. As you were speaking, Pastor Percival, I saw two things that I want to share. I saw a 1660 t-shirt. So I'm going to speak to my friends who are in the business. I even saw it. It has a map of Jamaica in the center, 60 above and 60 below Jamaica. I saw a t-shirt. So you need to get me a t-shirt, please, sir.
Okay.
Producer, I need a t-shirt.
You need a t-shirt, 1660.
I need my 1660 t-shirt. And I saw another thing. I saw us going to the PTAs with the 1660 initiative and having school children being a part of initiating projects. So those are two things that I think we need to use. The PTAs, and I know you're a big PTA man.
Because that's important. Any change that happens in a country happens with the
and
the
I need
strength and vigor.
my 1660 t-shirt. So whoever is listening and is in the business and wants to partner with us, I know these are two opportunities that we're going to get with 1660.
Yeah, so any change that happens in a country happens with the energy of the youth.
Absolutely.
They have to see it, and you twin that with the wisdom of the elders, and that is where true change happens. And it is significant to note that with the children of Israel, those who came out of Egypt, which is the land of limitations, and were moving into the promised land, which is the land where there are no limitations, that generation died because they would not believe. And only two people were left, Joshua and Caleb, and they had the strength of the youth in order to go in and possess the promised land.
Time for a break. When we come back, remember we're speaking to Senator Floyd Morris. We're just going to get him lined up for us to have a conversation with him, because it's no man left behind, and those amongst us with disabilities of any kind whatsoever have to be fully integrated into our society. And it's not just about the passing of the law, it is now the changing of things underground. Culturally, we've got to make that shift so we are truly inclusive. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. And when we come back, Senator Morris should be online with us.
We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. Ukraine is to impose a state of emergency and has urged its citizens to leave Russia as the government in Kiev steps up its response to what it calls intensified aggression from Moscow. The emergency declaration by the National Security and Defense Council needs parliamentary approval. More from Danny Eberhard.
For weeks, Ukraine's government has been telling its citizens not to panic in the face of the threat from Russia. That advice has not changed, but there's been a noticeable shift amid fears that Moscow could be planning a wider invasion, having announced it's recognizing as independent areas of eastern Ukraine controlled by Russian-backed separatist rebels. The Secretary of Ukraine's Security Council said emergency measures would be preventative to ensure the country remained calm and that the economy continued to function.
President Putin has warned that the security of Russia and its citizens are paramount and says he'll continue to boost the power of the military. But Mr. Putin has said he remains open to diplomacy. He made the comments to mark a public holiday called Defender of the Fatherland Day.
Our country is always open for direct and honest dialogue for the search of diplomatic solutions to the most complex problems. But I repeat, the interests of Russia, the security of our citizens are non-negotiable for us.
The White House has said the tentative plans for a summit between President Biden and Vladimir Putin have been scrapped. The U.S. Secretary of State has also called off a planned meeting with his Russian counterpart. The administration says such talks cannot take place until tension over the Ukraine crisis is eased. More countries, including Japan and Australia, have announced sanctions against Moscow. In other news, fewer babies were born in South Korea last year than since records began. The country is facing a demographic crisis, as Will Leonardo now reports.
South Korea's fertility rate is thought to be the lowest in the world. It's significantly lower than other developed countries struggling with declining populations, such as Japan. These new figures for the pandemic year of 2021 will be worrying for South Korea's government, which is encouraging people to start families through cash handouts. The authorities in the capital Seoul recently announced parents would receive vouchers worth $1,600 per newborn on top of national benefits. Analysts suggest the money may be needed. They say economic uncertainty and rising house prices are among the main reasons South Koreans aren't having children.
Rio Tinto, the world's second largest mining company, has posted record earnings of more than $20 billion after a year of soaring commodity prices and strong demand from China. The Anglo-Australian firm announced its highest ever dividend for shareholders. World news from the BBC. New figures show that the maternal mortality rate in the United States, already the worst among industrialized countries, has risen to its highest level in 50 years, with black women 3 times more likely to die than white women. Experts put the main difference down to the greater availability in other industrialized countries of universal health care during pregnancy. Hackers have retaken control of more than 30 government websites in Mozambique. On Monday, the authorities said they had repelled an attack, but a group called Yemeni hackers said they were now in charge of sites, including that of Mozambique's Defense Ministry and Water Agency. The hackers posted a message demanding a ransom within 24 hours. The Sri Lankan government says it's managed to pay about $35 million for a shipment of diesel as the country struggles with power cuts caused by a fuel shortage. The country needs around 4,000 tons of diesel every day to run its power plants, and the fuel shortage has led to prolonged power cuts. A team of archaeologists from Jordan and France has unearthed a 9,000-year-old shrine in the eastern Jordanian desert. The ritual complex is nestled in a Neolithic campsite near large structures known as desert kites. Lepika Pelham has more details.
These stone enclosures are mass traps that are often found scattered across the deserts of the Middle East. They consist of 2 or more long stones and were used to corral wild gazelles for slaughter. The researchers said the shrine is remarkably intact. Within it, perfectly preserved, are standing stones. Carvings on them depict human-like figures. There's also an altar, a hearth, marine shells, and a miniature model of a gazelle trap. Archaeologists say this shows that local inhabitants were skilled hunters.
BBC News.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM. Keep listening.
One in. A hurricane we name. Are we rough? Whether we are man hurricane or woman hurricane, we want you to know that we come here for mash up building, blow down things and take life, flood out place. We no ramp, we no respect no one. So no take no chance with we. Listen to Adprem and prepare. Hurricanes do happen, so be prepared. Yes, be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
Best 100 FM.
Half a tree. One already, 200. Ready, mama? Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Just pay your dues, my friend. Take my medical news. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient.
Hello there. Yes, indeed. This is the Prophet Reverend Mark Stewart, inviting each and every one of you to join us for war. It's gonna be a war this and every Wednesday. Of course, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be powerful. Come for the word. Come for the preaching. Come for the teaching. Of course, the music. And of course, midnight warfare prayer with me, the Prophet Mark Stewart, the Boss Shot, Apostle Marshall, Reverend Eric Box, and of course, Reverend Kathy and Thames. For the hard way. Join us every Wednesday night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Come and join us, will you? Sponsored by all our partners, our friends of the ministry. Will you join us? Yes, indeed. It's going to be powerful. This and every Wednesday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. We're the lick it till the bus gone. We go. The lick it till the bus gone. We go.
Vijam Printers Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection, and thank you all for staying with us and for participating in the session of prayer. As you saw or heard, Pastor Percival finished up with some very specific entreaties concerning our 1660 project, for which I have now seen the T-shirt and a specific inclusion of school children as a part of what we're doing. So you see it continues to grow, and I am grateful to the input from one of our callers. Neville yesterday made a suggestion which we've been it was very much in line with some other initiatives currently underway, but the specific suggestion that he made about creating a space for the committed Best FM family listeners to participate. We took it to management.
Yes.
Oh, you left before we took it to management.
About what?
You had to leave, but we went and we sat down to have a conversation about the Morning Connection Best FM Trust.
Okay.
And making space for listeners to participate by way of their giving through whether it is cash or services. And I tell you, Neville's comment that he is able to tutor in 12 different disciplines, I'm sure it woke up a recognition in many other listeners of the ways in which they can also contribute. So I'm excited by it. It has got it gained approval yesterday. So I'll just figure out the legal pieces to bring it to life. So there will be a trust. You missed that conversation yesterday.
There will be a trust that we trust in.
Trust. A trusting trust. All right, we are trying to get Senator Floyd on the line. So far we're getting voicemail. If we're not able to reach him in good time, Percival and I are going to move forward and we just reschedule that conversation. I have still been searching for the regulations that they haven't been posted in the Jamaica laws online, and if anyone has it, send it to myself or Pastor Percival.
I'm going to check again with my sources because it should have come to us. Yes,
I really am not understanding the delay in it. It's not promising, but you know what? Many times these things start off with some signs of weakness, and those weaknesses become great strengths because it causes everybody to redouble their effort to make sure that it doesn't fall to the ground. There was an editorial in I think a recent publication of the Gleaner. Was it yesterday or maybe on the weekend? But there was an editorial speaking to that very issue, that with a piece of legislation passed in 2014, Parliament itself had not taken the steps to bring the wheelchair.
They must running ramp trying to fix
they had
that.
7 years in which to have
they probably thought it was going to happen.
Yeah. and that's not a promising sign. But again, I thought, you know what? Let us then take very special care of this child that seemed to have come into a world that is unprepared for it. By our own act, we set it in being.
Yes.
Just much the same way parents will have children and treat them as though they were unwanted when we were the ones who set in motion the chain of events that bring them here. So sometimes it has a rocky beginning, but others see it and make a determined effort to give it a more prosperous.
That reminds me of 1 Chronicles 4, 9 and 10 with the prayer of Jabez. When it said of him, his mother gave him the name Jabez. It says, you brought me in pain. You brought me in pain. You brought me in pain. But then he made a declaration because he made some recognition about who God was, and he prayed, and what God did for him. He said, oh, if you remove this pain and enlarge my borders. And what happened to him was the Lord heard his prayer and enlarged his borders. And your borders represent your sphere of influence. So we are making a declaration over this Disabilities Act of 2014 that even though it has been birthed in pain, we are crying out on its behalf that its sphere of influence and impact in the society will increase, will grow, and people will understand it to become so much a part of our culture that people recognize that the people are not disabled, they are otherwise abled, and make space for them to thrive and grow in our society.
Or as I am determined to call it, they are rightly abled for a specific purpose. And we must partner with them in identifying that purpose and preparing them for that purpose, because that is the role of the human family, to prepare each other for purpose. Now, I saw an article which caused me to reach over and grab the physical paper, much to the horror of the producer, who is forever mindful of the live stream. It is a Rastafarian elder, Louis Brown. The headline says, Rastafarians call for an end to institutionalized discrimination. A Janet Silvera article in today's edition of the Gleaner. Citing institutionalized discrimination by the state, the Coral Gardens Benevolent Society, a Rastafarian organization, is calling on the Jamaican government to immediately take steps to establish a written policy condemning all forms of prejudice against the minority group. The society, which has oversight responsibility for the surviving victims of the 1963 Coral Garden incident, which saw a brutal government-sanctioned crackdown against Rastafarians, said they continue to experience grave acts of victimization and injustice over the past 5 years, which they believe warrants a government response. Speaking on behalf of the group, renowned Rastafarian Elder Louis Brown, who was central to the negotiations which culminated in the Andrew Holness-led government apologizing to the Rastafarian community in April 2017 for the 1963 Coral Gardens incident, said agents of the state are again taking discriminatory action against them. Listing a series of recent incidents, the organization pointed to reports of the alleged forced trimming of a young man at the Gordon Town police station. That incident is before the court as the youngster's parents are locked in a legal battle with the state. There was also a report of an alleged trimming of the precept's beard of an elderly Rastafarian at the Linstead Hospital in St. Catherine. His family is also seeking justice through the local courts. They also cited the incident in which a young girl with dreadlocks hairstyle was reportedly turned away from a school in St. Catherine. Her parents sought justice through the legal system. However, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of that school's principal. The latest incident that has drawn the ire of the Rastafarian community is the ongoing situation with Nzinga Candice King, who claimed her locks were trimmed by a policewoman at the Four Paths police station in Clarendon. The office of the DPP subsequently ruled against criminal charges being brought against the police officer accused of doing the trimming. Brown also spoke to the need for government to craft a policy to put an end to the barring of locks-wearing Rastafarian children from attending educational institutions. And the article continues. I would read all of it, but it's somewhat lengthy.
So we endorse the thing for our policy.
Yes, I wanted to share as much of it as we could, but I am just concerned. What difference will a policy make?
The policy drives a lot of stuff.
Because that policy already exists, it is reflected in our constitution.
In our law. We probably need to put it up and write it in the police stations in the school.
Yeah, the truth is, it is highlighting the need for a better structure for prosecuting violations of constitutional rights. My view is that we need a constitutional court that is open every day to regular people who can just go in and state their have access to the court. It is too hard right now. Look at how many things are under litigation.
And you notice where it has happened in the period that it has happened?
Yeah. The only thing that got, well, one would say, it seems that the only thing they get with speed is a no. The DPP says no charges. Indicom says no violation of rights. Not even disciplinary proceedings seems to be underway for how this young lady, Miss King, was treated. I don't think it is a question of policy, but I guess you have to ask for something.
Culture.
You have to ask for something. Again, it comes back to how do we, as the ordinary Jamaican, how do we feel about these things?
How do we respect on other people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest, yes, that we open the lines and take a few calls before we get to the 8:30 break. But I remain concerned that this issue of discrimination continues to be so live.
Yeah.
And we're at a time in our history, in our development, where we know better. We know better.
And we should do better.
The discrimination that used to, and we know that it is a state issue, because I do not believe that as between Jamaican and Jamaican on the street, that Rastafarians are feeling disrespected and discriminated.
No, man, they're still feeling it, man.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay so far. Yeah. 1660. Explain to me what it is, please.
1660. Okay.
Okay, but you need to turn down your radio for me, or have you done so? I was hearing it in the background.
Yes, I know. I'll walk away from it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
1660. You know, Jamaica has been under her own flag for 60 years.
Yes.
And so the Morning Connection on its own we have said that we want to acknowledge that experience by inviting 60 communities across the island to examine what's happening in their communities, take a decision that each community wants to change something on the ground that will give the community a more prosperous outlook and future. And we will partner with those communities to bring that into reality. But a very important part of how we do it is that the community must be prepared to engage in prayer as a part of making the change. So the churches in the community, the members of the community who are people of faith, must be prepared to specifically invite their Creator into the process with them, so that they have both the spiritual backing and then in the natural they have the resources that are required to make the change. We have explained that the communities who want to do this, you need to walk through your community, take a picture of your environment, so we see what it is that you are looking at and living with every day. And that I'd call it now photo journal will be something that you use later on to compare to see what advances you have made.
So basically what you do is look at what resources, what the needs are within, and do an assessment.
Yes.
Pull it right across, put it together, and you look where we start from, which is the one that is most needed.
Yes.
So you only have to, we say start with 10 people, which can help it.
Okay, all right.
All right, brother.
Thanks.
So where you calling us from? Which community?
St. Catherine.
Your town?
Yes, St. Catherine, above Linstead.
All right, my brother. And where that is?
It is above Linstead. You know, if you know Windalco.
Yes, I know where it is. I know where your town is. Yeah, man.
Yes,
so as you make the inquiry, my brother, I should just say, your community can be the street on which you live.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be
the
whole, absolutely. It don't have to be the whole town in which you live. Just the area where you feel that sense of family, and you would say, this is my community. These are the people I live and move amongst, and I want to see something change.
Yes, and you start right there.
And you start right and let it spread. Oh, you're speaking my language.
So we know what's happening.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the things that I wanted to look at, you see, when you have community organization, sometimes there's grants out there.
Yes.
That can be gotten
right
to utilize.
Absolutely.
So sometimes some of the organizations, don't know when some of these grants are out there, especially when they coming through government. And the government not opening up the eyes of the people to some of the grants that can help.
All true. All true. And that is one of the when we partner with you on it, that is the role that we can play, where we bring the information, we bring the people, the personnel, those who know where the money is, what to do, how to go about qualifying, and we put that together with the community-based organization. Yes.
And persons who can help write the grants and
absolutely, yes.
You get the idea, my brother.
Yes.
So I'm just speaking to you to help you formulate a plan.
Yes, man, I love it. I love it.
Because SBC is supposed to really work that way. Sometimes they don't pay attention, but maybe like how you're coming on board now, they will work a little more better. Because they're not coming and organizing communities as they're supposed to do, more than the usual again. Everybody has to technical assistance.
Right. But we are trying to encourage community members, even from a point of ignorance where you don't know what resources are available, just to wake up that desire within, to say, I'm not satisfied with how things look. I want to do something about it. And sometimes it is that native desire which then brings to you the other pieces that can make it possible.
Vision draw resources.
Because it is what really will drive the politician, because whenever we are doing something and it is highlighted by the media, then the government will know that they should be playing their part and they will have to come on board.
Yes. Very well said, my brother. I thank you.
Yeah, because at the moment I know that sometimes, maybe in the next couple of months, there will be maybe a 10 million US grant to do some planting in Jamaica, which will be ginger, turmeric, pimenta, not the egg.
So
how do we find ways and means to get persons organized, because they want to do it through organized groups?
Yes, and that is right.
Yes, and so we need now to help get persons to organize, to be on board with something like this, because we need to look at food security and move forward.
Yes. So are you
something like that? Huh?
Are you going to participate in it with us? Because you sound like you are already well on board with that approach.
Yeah, man. I am on board because I'm part of a farmers co-op that we have registered. We just want to take out the nitpicks out right now, because sometimes we come together, do the thing, and then all of a sudden we get bad mind and mash up the thing one way. But we have to restructure and get going forward.
All right. Leave your number with the engineer so we can talk to you off here. All right?
All right.
And as a man would say in Jamaica, we burn in bad mind. We burn bad mind.
We put a fire to it.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that is a wonderful start.
First call, yes.
Absolutely. Conrad, I know you're on the road and you're driving and you want us to wake you up. All right, we just burn a small fire against bad mind. I hope that warmed you somewhat. That is an excellent start to the morning. Truth to power. He says, Mr. Producer, please have them pay attention to the messages of the people on YouTube. I am apologizing. We got so deep in the prayer. All right, let's see. Truth to Power has made a few comments here. Well, the first one, he says, good morning. Can you tell us how many countries still maintain a nightly curfew? I don't know how many, come to think of it. I know Jamaica just moved to midnight.
Most countries have removed it.
Most countries have removed it.
They have removed mandate. England just move everything. Boom. Everything out through the window.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The Prime Minister is shy. He's doing it in small steps at a time. And why are funerals still not being allowed on weekends? Funerals are not allowed on weekends?
No, just Monday to Friday.
Oh, really? Oh, I see.
But here's the joke about it. Let me tell you. If you're going to a funeral, whether it is on the weekend or thing, the people are still coming.
Same thing.
The last funeral that I did, I went today. Bus loads of people turned up.
What's this with the weekend thing?
I don't know.
Does it make a difference?
I don't know. They need to explain the logic.
Right.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you, my brother?
Well, with the Rasta situation that they're still having problem over the years.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the main reasons when I investigate, when I was a youth, it was mostly Christian that hate Rasta. Right? Did you know that?
No, I don't know that. Go ahead.
Yeah, me I tell you. Because Rasta say, Selassie are God.
Yeah,
that was the main reason why they didn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny to hear the word Christian and hate in the same sentence.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but a lot of Christians are hateful and wicked.
You sound like one of them.
So-called Christian.
All right, Santa, go on.
You hear that part? So-called Christian. You know what that means?
Yes.
All right. And I see some other people in this country being advertised. They're so dirty and they're promoting them. They're getting a life. You know? Mm-hmm. I see where one president called one of them his name and he didn't like his name. And the president have to pay $9 million for calling his name.
Okay. What's that?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
All right, can we take the break? Sorry, Santa, you know you always call at the break time. So please stay online. We're coming back.
We'll be right back.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM. Keep listening.
Half a tree. One already, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Just pay your dues, my friend. Take my medical news. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient.
Melody in my voice. Kemisha plays the music nice. Melody in my voice. Kemisha full of vibes. Best FM run the town. Yes, I run the town. Hear me loud and clear. They run the country and the town. Or the far and near. Bless the love and to Empress Kemisha on Best FM, and it's all about the resetting. Mondays to Thursdays 2 to 5 p.m. on Best FM. Keep it locked. This is Warrior King, the Black Emperor. Come on, tune in.
Vijam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. Caller number 1. Continue, my brother.
Yes. Like I was saying, didn't you know about the incident where that president have to pay $9 million?
Which president? In a different country?
Pastor, you're supposed to know that. In this country,
president.
I
don't remember.
President of a sport foundation.
No, I don't know about it.
Yes, he was sued.
Because somebody used his name?
No, he called a personal name.
Okay.
A defamatory name?
Well, that's what they say.
But you don't agree that it was defamatory? Was it descriptive in your view?
It's a name that we call those people from I was a child.
Oh, you mean
those people that wear pretty clothes. Now you get me clearer?
All right.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. So, what is your point? What's your point, though? That
what I'm saying, those people are well protected, and Rasta is still getting a fight.
So what you
I
say?
see. Yes.
Okay.
But what does that say about us? Because you said Christians were at the heart of some bad treatment of Rasta. And
in the beginning, I think it changed.
In the beginning. Okay.
Because Christians tend to be very opposed to non-traditional forms of behavior. So are you saying that Christians are protecting people while Rasta being discriminated against?
Right now, Christians are protecting those pretty close people.
Okay. You're talking a code, but what is the other point?
Yes, but I know that you understand the code.
Yes, I understand. I understand what you're saying. But we're talking about institutionalized discrimination, or so the Rasta elder is saying. He's saying that the parts of the state charged with the responsibility and the duty to give equal treatment to all Jamaicans have singled out a group of Jamaicans. And when you look at it, there does seem to be some evidence of a continued history of oppression. And we're trying to understand what would account for it. It can be, I don't think if it were Christianity in the long ago days, it is no longer so. Because we're talking about policemen, law and order. Policemen who will profile you and say, because you look a certain way, you're inclined to be this or that.
Right.
And we got to, we have to break that. That cannot be a continuing thing. And it does seem to be so. Seems to be so.
All right, but you have any other thing you need to say, or we could go to our next caller?
You could go on next call. I have a lot more, but I can't remember some of them now.
I tell you, catching up with you, anyway.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, Miss Minett. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear.
And to you and Pastor. I would like to say I congratulate you. And why I am saying that, to you and the other people them who are paying $15,000 to the poor people then, because both you and them consider it the poor to $15,000 weekly, because when I hear the minimum wage move from 7,000 to 9,000 as well, then make it and I 7,000 is minute.
That is true.
So
that tell you.
God bless you and others who are considering about people, because when you go in the supermarket, Miss Minett, you look on the bigger mile of you got must be 500 gram of them member. A 1,000 odd feet. You look on one Bacraholics, a 1,000 odd feet. One last come big milk of $600 odd dollar when $9,000 can do.
Mm-hmm.
But God bless you and hope your storeroom and others who are paying $15,000 will never run dry, because consider about poor people, Yeah. And I would like to say, I would like this to go to find out of that $9,000 where they say minimum wage gone to. If you must feed yourself out of it, I don't know what can go so.
Feed yourself, pay light bill,
travel
to work, bus fare. All of those. No, it is.
God
my dear.
Today I cry, but Miss Minett, one thing I say, all time people say, if duck no left pan a feel left duck.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you understand that frame there.
Oh, well, I am learning it even as you say it. I'm visualizing it.
That means to say, when the pan dry out, because duck love water, and when the pan dry, the duck have to leave, because no water no in there again.
Indeed. One way or another, the duck will leave.
The duck have to left. Yes, ma'am. So God be with you and Pastor, and God bless you all, and continue to keep up the good work. And I know that God have a crown for you laid up in there, waiting for you for the good that you are keeping up and the good that you are doing to the poor people in this country. God bless you, ma'am.
God bless you too, ma'am.
Good.
Yes, good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
So we get a new Jamaican proverb this morning.
Yes. If pan no leave duck. How it go? If duck don't leave pond. the pond will leave the duck. One way or another, the duck is leaving. And you know, that's such a stark reality. People need to understand that. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning time.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, just a contribute to the lady said a while ago.
Yes.
It's really the and the government oppress the people, you know. And doing so with the people, you know, and frustrating the people, you know. Some of the people, they may look at easier way out, you know. And anyway, I'm not going to look at easier way, the way them are going up. You understand? And these people reap so much money annually and quarterly, and then straight against the people, them. Why you are going to make so much billions of dollars every quarter and you want to share it amongst the people? Then? Why you expect to oppress the people? Them, so you make your investment and you want your return, yes. But good God, man, share it amongst the people. Them straight and make sure people think easier, people, basic things that people can survive and live.
And you know, what is terrible about this minimum wage issue is that for the government to do the right thing and set it at the right place, that's not money coming out of their pocket, you know, that's setting a higher standard for the treatment of citizens in this country.
Right.
So for us not to be able to even make that decision and say, no, man.
But listen, you see, it's a corruption. You see, that's why I'm tell you, so they might try to stem corruption, you know, and they can't stem corruption because people have to survive. No care where they must say people have to survive. So people are going to means and ways. It's just that unfortunate, you know. Maybe me is one of the one who go unfortunate. Somebody I try to rob me, I try to get to.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
The other day, what day my niece, you know, my niece work at digital, you know, right? And she was being kidnapped, you know, by taxi man. When I said taxi, as in a red plate. Seeing, I think it's a white plate taxi she going there. And if she was kidnapped, they don't come public still, you know. But we just keep it away.
Yes.
And she kidnapped at gunpoint, drive all go downtown and so, and take her card and other thing that people are in the taxi.
Yes.
And then take her card, take her phone, and after her for her pin, and then go jar her money out of her account.
Oh God.
You understand? So you see, we left us pray, you know, the government, you know, and the politicians, them good because them have them bodyguard around them and wherever, you know, them are okay, you know, so them can't chat them out full of crap, you know. And we out just the citizens, you know, we are feel the brunt, you know, we are go through all of them stations, you know.
That's why I'm
not sure next thing is really quick. I have a friend living in my scheme, and them check a car, a 7-seater car, right? And you know what the guys, when them going there, was a guy at the back, a girl at the front, and a girl inside of the middle seat. And when him going there, them drive off. The guy at the back of a gun, and pull the gun, and pull the gun, and then turn back the car. I'm not going to tell you exactly which part them go with the car. And turn the car, and where them go with the car, them take with them money, take with them phone, put them out of the car. And there was a girl in front of the car who decided that she not give up her pin. And then drive with her. You know what them doing in the car? Them pull off the angle is to open the door, then pull
from
it off
the
from the
inside,
so they couldn't
so
come
you
out.
can't come out.
And what happened to my niece now, them the child safety lock them put down so they couldn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, and you know, that's why if we don't like step ahead of it and start take some decisions before things reach that point of desperation where there are no rules, we're not going to be able to control it, because our own people are going to turn on us. Because as the lady say now, if duck no leave pan a go leave duck, because the water go dry out. So when the water dry out and we all become animals to our, oh God, I can't even envisage it. So we're trying to stay a step of it before the communities break down to the point where we don't recognize one another now, and we just see each other as an opportunity to make, as Pastor said earlier, eat a food.
All of us are prey. All of us are prey out here. All of us are prey out here to the animals. And people have to survive. I mean, I'm going to say, what them do is right, you know.
Yes.
You understand? I'm going to say it's right. But people have to survive, and if remember, you know, this minute, just one more minute there. You see a thief, remember, you know, when a thief comes to rob you, you know, in a film mind, you know, he knows he can lose him life too, you know, but he don't think about it at the time, you know, but he knows the possibility like him can lose him life So you can just imagine the person where come at you, you know. I'm doing value for him life at the time, you know.
True.
You're just thinking about getting away and the plans we have.
Yes.
For our money.
And
then anything come after I just say go.
You become the obstacle to his freedom.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this.
You're welcome, my brother. Is there another call? Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, my sister.
Morning, sir.
Morning, how you doing?
Man, Pastor, with that, my God, they're a good man. I don't know if it's a fact. I saw on social media where there's a fire at the market in town. I didn't get the chance to listen.
Ray Market in downtown Kingston.
Again?
Yes.
Again?
Yeah, it's a Ray Market in Rollington Town.
Yeah, man. But I have for a long while I've got sort of concern about how the markets, you know. Our markets have been developed since little after slavery. Right? They remain in the same condition that our people have to go to the market. But when you go to you ever go to the market, like say on a Tuesday or a Monday when very little activity is taking place, and see the amount of the stall them and the play chaka.
Yes, yeah.
It's a recipe for a fire, you know, man. And I'm saying to myself, you mean we can't do better? Some people have to make a genius when it comes to surviving, you know, man. So they come with a little boat stall and they need up a little thing and everybody come and them selling. No, the government can't come and get some artisans and build some proper stalls for those people. You know, what they will be doing, you know, they will be creating jobs for people, you know, and get some artisans build some stall. And when the people come there, they include that in the market fee. If the market fee is $100, them say, all right, $80 for the market fee and $20 will go towards maintain to pay for the stall. And the people have a nice stall that them can put them goods in and things. And instead of this whole chaka board this and that. What is happening in this country? What are our leaders doing?
That's a local government issue that should have been taken care of a long time ago.
Some people are doing, some people are not. But the overall thing, it is bad. Because I go to markets and downtown Carnation. You go up to Papine where they see dirty water running through the place.
But you know, earlier we were talking about this ongoing system where the people from above just take the output from below and carry it off to, you know, their better appointed places without caring about the conditions of those who are laboring and producing. We see it happening in every sphere. It's the same thing.
They put out the food on the ground and you see water run and it disturbs me greatly, man. Another place again that disturbs me greatly, you know. Is up my health.
Oh, jeez.
So here, my brother, may I say something? Because this issue of the poor infrastructure in markets and so on is a recurring theme on this program. Many people call and they talk about it all the time. As we are talking about the 60 and 60, and whether we give it a name or not, can persons who live in the communities where these markets exist and where there's that kind of infrastructure, can it become a project that is driven by the community? Because you can advocate for resources to come into your local government or your area to fix a problem that is unsightly and unpleasant. You can.
And when you do it, you know,
we need community ownership of it rather
action,
than we need somebody to own
to make it happen.
Making it a project of it.
I agree with that sentiment. But listen.
Yes.
This thing take more than the community. You know. Take the government.
Yeah, but it is government that you press into doing the right thing.
What you need to do, you see, in order. We need to put pressure on the government to do what they're supposed to do. That's what we're not doing, you know.
Yes, I'm just turning it. I'm turning it into.
Instead of us trying to fix the problem that this government is supposed to fix, we're supposed to put some pressure on the government.
So how do you put pressure, my brother? How do you put pressure
on the government?
If community groups don't get together and say, all right, wherever they are meeting, we are going. Whatever we need, it's going to be done. Show up at the places where things are taking place. Give out your flyers to the vendors, because a lot of the vendors are just looking for support to get these things done. They talk about it. They say we pay fees to use markets and the infrastructure is poor. I'm just trying to shift you from complaining about it into being a part of the effort that changes.
Advocacy and the change.
I'm not complaining. What I'm saying, I don't consider myself.
You're not complaining. May I complain too?
Why? What you see? What I say now?
Yes.
A lot of people in this country have become hunters gatherers.
We have become what? Hunters and gatherers?
Yeah, hunter-gatherers, yeah.
They hardly see anything of that. Anything, they don't see it when they walk in on the street. They don't know that anything is wrong. The garbage, all in Portmore here, when you walk around the street and see the amount of garbage where people throw, they drinks and them throw it in the gully, and when you see all them type of things here, we have become a nation of hunters together. Nobody is and nobody sees anything. Nobody sees anything at all, because I'm sure if those people that in the market and those of us who go to the market decide that we're going to demonstrate, we're going to come out in our numbers and demonstrate to the government that this man, you have to fix the market, you can't say like this,
Well, listen, man, there are many ways to get your projects going without having to demonstrate and behave in a certain way. We have been talking about ownership at the community level. If there is such a thing in your place, let's organize and address it. Thank you, Conrad. That is the word. Organization. That is the word. We have to be organized in how we seek to bring resources to address the problems in our communities. And I'm trying to lift us from that place where we talk about it, we know it's wrong, we see that it's wrong, but now we start to organize ourselves into making that impact. All right. My brother, was there something else you wanted to say?
God bless the day. A fire don't break out of fire, because when you go up there,
ramshackle. And nobody put up anything.
You cannot come out of that place easily, The only thing that is going to save people from not dying up there, is that they are the sea, they can't run in at the sea,
Jumping at the sea, go swim. And even fire.
I'm telling you, man, we cannot have a system where the government neglects it and say we must and collecting taxes and some of our politicians go up there too, because I hear some of them talk about the best place to go and eat a fish up at El China.
Well,
them do have no vision, and them do you see, and they are poor quality individual really to be our politician, Very poor quality individual. Because me personally, as a politician, I could have never feel comfortable to go to a place like El China every day, go so me fish and look for the place or ramshackle. I would have to find a way to make the people fix up the place, man.
Well, all right, thank you, my brother. We're going to return to some of these issues. I have Senator Floyd Morris on the line. I'd been trying to reach him earlier, so I'm going to have the conversation with him, and then we can reopen the line so we can get back to business as usual, so to speak. Thank you very much. Senator Morris.
Pleasant good morning, Mrs. Lawrence.
Good morning to you also.
Morning, sir. How are you? Happy New Year to you, sir, even though it's in end of February.
I tell you. Well, Thank you very much, Sir Lawrence.
Well, I have to echo that because, I do wish you, I think I may have sent you greetings in the new year.
Yes, you did. But I did see it on my message.
Yes, and that was Pastor Percival greeting you, by the way, because you were speaking to the producer, Mr. Lawrence, earlier on.
Right.
So it's Pastor Percival who was giving you the belated New Year greetings.
Okay.
So, Senator Morris, your baby has been born, but we don't see the regulations.
Yes.
What's happening there?
Well, the legislation is in effect, and the regulations have been approved in the Parliament.
They have not yet published it, because I've been trying to get a copy of it online and I haven't seen it.
The regulations?
The regulations, yes.
I don't know, but the regulations were approved in the Senate in October last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what we were saying. And they
And
said
put
it
in
come to
effect on the 14th
of February.
Yeah, so everything should have been in place by the 14th. So
yes, I don't see it in the Jamaica laws online, but I'm not going to let that disturb our conversation, because I will.
Once the minister sets the effective date,
yes,
the law is in effect.
Oh yes.
So the legislation would be in effect. The regulations would be in effect as well.
They are. I agree with you 100%. And I don't want to start on a negative note, but the truth of the matter is, they should have it online so persons could know what the regulations say. The average citizen would know what's in the regulations, so they could prepare their businesses and themselves for how it might affect things going forward. But I will rely on you to give me the highlights. What can I do today? How can I bring to life the privileges, the advantages, the provisions of the 2014 Act? What changes with the regulations now being in effect? What could a person do?
Well, this is what I call a transformational piece of legislation that seeks to facilitate the participation, inclusion, and non-discrimination of persons with disabilities in the broader Jamaican society. And it brings into sharp focus some key elements that are fundamental to the development of a person with a disability. For example, the issue of education. The legislation frowns upon an institution that discriminates against a person with disability and mandates that educational and training institutions have to put in place facilities to accommodate persons with disabilities. And then the whole issue of employment, because you train someone with a disability, you educate someone with a disability, they need employment for survival. And the Act makes provision for persons with disabilities to not be discriminated against in the labor market, and that provisions ought to be made for these individuals to be included. Then you take into consideration the whole issue of health care. That is another major issue for persons with disabilities. Most persons with disability have some form of underlying health condition, and this legislation ensures that the persons with disabilities are not discriminated against in the context of healthcare. And then you have the whole issue of housing, how persons with disabilities are to be treated in the housing sector, where reasonable accommodation are to be made for these individuals. For example, if adjustments are to be made for a wheelchair user, the building of a ramp and the adjustments of bathrooms to accommodate those persons, what are the steps, what are the protocols that must be followed?
So, I have a question.
Yes.
It is of concern to me how accessible these procedures and systems are to even disabled persons themselves. Would a disabled person need to have someone advocating for them in order to access the benefits and the procedures under the regulations, or is it done in such a way that they can advocate for themselves?
Certainly. It is done in such a way that they can advocate for themselves. For example, where the board, the legislation makes provision for a board to be established for the governance of the new Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. And notice I said new Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Yeah. I'll get back to that before we end. And on the board, it makes provision for individuals with disabilities themselves to be included on the board. And where that is not possible, then individuals with disabilities can be appointed on representatives for individuals with disabilities can be appointed on the board. But also, if a person with a disability can bring directly complaints to the JCPD if their rights are being violated by themselves. And if the matter has to do with the JCPD, the law makes the provision for persons with disabilities themselves to take the matter to the public defender. Okay. So,
that is an important development.
Is inclusive of persons with disabilities.
Yes, that was a concern that I have. I'm also curious to understand how the law requires and monitors the inclusion of technology, whether it is having interpreters, having devices that are available in public spaces and maybe even in places of employment to ensure that there is real inclusion of persons with disability. Are there any provisions that speak to that?
All right, the law does a couple of things.
Yes.
Right? First and foremost, the law makes provision for codes of practice to be established by the JCPD to guide in the prevention of discrimination against persons with disabilities.
And the general public?
Yeah, and this is mandatory now. This is not permissive. It's not saying they may.
They may.
It says they may, or?
Yes. I think it is mandatory.
Right. I hope that it is.
Yes, I think, and I know already they have developed some of the codes, right? And these codes take into consideration and provision the issue of accessibility and comes with it technology, right?
Yes.
Now, when you look at the definitional section of the law, it defines some critical terms, and one of them is access, and access speaks to information, and access speaks to benefits as well as it speaks to facilities. Now, you have also another aspect of the definitional section which speaks about reasonable arrangement.
Yes, and undue burden.
Yes, and it also speaks about universal design. Now, these are some critical concepts that, links the legislation to assistive and modern technologies for persons with disabilities, because the law anticipates that in order for persons with disabilities to be meaningfully included in society, technology will have to play a pivotal role. And so, the issue of technology is a major part of the legislation.
Senator Morris?
Yes.
I have a child with a disability. She's deaf and hard of hearing. And recently, somebody reached out to her because she'd gone through the high school system, university, and somebody's at a high school. Under the law, will high schools be compelled if somebody is deaf and hard of hearing and they pass for that school that if they request an interpreter, does the law provide for that in terms of the government having to foot that cost and responsibility?
Well, the law doesn't say specifically that the government must foot the bill, but the government is responsible for all, well, put it this way, wherever there's a public institution, it is anticipated that if a person with a disability, whether it be blind or deaf, is included in that institution, that the government will have to take responsibility for those services that are being provided. And, again, you have the education code that the law is very explicit on, that codes of practice has to be established for education, would cover issues of services for hearing impaired individuals who are hard of hearing and deaf.
So based on what you have said, Percy is registered with the council. They're having a problem. So is it referred to the Ministry of Education, or they go to the council and then the council works in terms of helping that person get necessary services that are needed?
Well, how the law anticipates, if the person with a disability has a problem, then they go to the council.
Right.
And the council conducts the necessary investigation. And one of the things that I must point out, that is going to be absolutely necessary, and you have to, I'm imploring all the media houses to encourage parents, friends, relatives, brothers and sisters to get their relatives with disabilities registered with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, because it is in registering with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities that you are going to know how many persons with disabilities are out there, where they are, and to be able to plan effectively for these individuals. If you don't know how many persons with disabilities are in the society, if you don't know how many persons with disabilities are young people versus those who are elderly, you just cannot plan effectively. And I'm encouraging family members, now is not the time to be bashful, now is not the time to be shy, now is not the time to be ashamed. Step forward boldly and embrace your relative with a disability, and make sure that you get them registered and get them in the system. I have a disability and I wear it with a badge of honor, because I never went to the shop and bought blindness. Nobody goes to the supermarket and purchase deafness. Nobody goes to any store and purchase a physical disability. And so we must step out, lay claims to the gains that we have made through this legislation and other services. And we are going to be fighting for more, because as long as breath is in my body, I am going to continue to fight for betterment for the people, the disabled population of Jamaica.
Let me ask a question, Senator. How easy is it to be registered? Could you just give us the bare bones of it, because we would like to join?
Well, this is one of the things that I have battled with the government and the JCPD about over the years, because, there is a form that individuals have to complete, but it requires verification from medical professional.
Yes.
To indicate that, yes, there is a disability. So, take, for example, I'm blind and I complete the form. I have to get a medical person to complete a form to say that I am blind.
Oh,
Right?
who bears
And-
that cost?
There you go. The person with the disability.
Come on.
And this is where I have had my battle with them. The government have responded by saying that, you know, this is a matter they can get it done in the public service.
Can't.
But I tell you,
You can't because
you know how the waiting hours in the public health sector.
You
and
know,
the stress that has been brought on the system largely due to the pandemic. I mean, it is
Senator,
difficult for persons with disabilities.
We've just gone through. Seeing government in action handling the pandemic, and also seeing government in action trying to find students who have not reported for school. Is there any possibility of your being able to organize a national drive where the public health department goes into the communities and do that assessment and registration of persons with disabilities? Because outside of that, and perhaps a lowering of the standard regarding the type of confirmation, because the confirmation can be evident.
Yeah, yes.
What I say to that, any measure to push the registration of persons with disabilities would be most welcome. What I know it is going to be very difficult for persons with disabilities
of
to
course.
just
Yes.
And that is the point, because Senator, for my daughter, and I'm just speaking the real lived experience. I think we only have one audiologist in Jamaica. Who is president. We have people who test, and she has to go and see a specialist, ENT specialist, who she checks with. And to see that specialist to just her do the test is a significant amount of money, because I don't know of other persons like that in the public health system who you can readily access. So again, you put a law in place and you're putting obstacles in place for persons without means to get that done. And I'm saying, come on, the government has to do better. They're saying that, the public health system is overburdened, not properly resourced. And so I'm making a call publicly.
I am certain, and I suggested this in a debate on the regulations in the Senate, that, you know, the government should set aside some funds,
yes,
and forge some collaboration with the private sector,
yes,
where they could complete the form, because it's a form that they are completing, right? They could complete the form of the person with a disability for a reduced fee. You know, I mean, some of these services that are required, some of these verification that are required are not provided by government service. I mean,
we know that.
The examination and determination of persons with intellectual disabilities.
Yes.
I mean, Michael Care is one of the government institutions that does that sort of assessment, but I don't think they have a long waiting line.
May I shift the conversation a little bit, because it is a lot to cover, and I want to get I want to get as much through as possible. I think we are in agreement with you, Senator, that some cooperation with the private sector is needed to ensure that or family of disabled persons, that we have a sense of how many, where they are, and what the disabilities are. But the rights that they enjoy and the rights conferred on them by the legislation does not require registration as a part of accessing those rights. Registration is a good planning tool, but regardless of whether they are registered or not, when they show up to access these rights. It is theirs by virtue of statute and by virtue of the Constitution. So my question to you now is this. Are you aware of any effort being mounted to fund the preparation of public and private spaces so that they can be brought in compliance with the Act? And what crosses my mind is this: much as we are trying to, it's all, you have an answer.
That's a very good question.
You have an answer. Go ahead.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am not a part of the administration at the moment, so I couldn't say to you yea or nay in that on that particular score, right?
But you anticipate a need for something.
Hello?
I'm asking, do you anticipate a need? I mean, do you see persons being frustrated because places are not really ready for them? There was in the news some report about the wheelchair at the House of Parliament. And I suspect that...
I mean, I think you're going to see over time. I think you're going to see over time the changes being made.
Time frame?
Right?
What I'm saying?
Changes being made over time, as they are subject to what we call progressive realization.
Sir.
And adaptation.
I hope that within another 5 years,
5 years, yeah,
we can do an evaluation and see a marked improvement in the Jamaican society. And this means, because sister legislation to the Disability Act is the Building Act, which has the building code.
Yes.
And that will, that is already in effect. It is for the parish councils to implement the legislation and make sure that new buildings have the requisite access features.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I am giving it a 5-year period for us to do a reasonable assessment and say, all right, this is where we are at, this is where we're coming from. I can tell you right now where we are at. We are at ground zero. Don't leave. At ground zero, I published an article, for example, in an international journal in 2019 entitled Accessible and Inclusive City, Can Kingston, Jamaica Measure Up? And Kingston got a failing grade, right? So if we look now down the road in another, say by
5
20
years.
All right, let's work with 27. The Sustainable Development Goals.
2030.
If I would say by 2030, we should have a better sense
of where we are.
As to where we are.
Yes.
Okay.
My last question to you, Senator, because I do thank you for fitting us in, because we missed our slot, but we have recalibrated nicely. I just want a statement from you. What is it that makes you hopeful that Jamaicans will actually get to an acceptable level of compliance? Is there anything that's giving you hope?
Well, I mean, we have transitioned from a policy framework to a legislative framework. And if you look at how the law is configured, it puts in place some institutional mechanisms to guide and ensure the implementation. So you have the new JCPD, which is going to be a body corporate, and they are
in place yet, sir? The new one?
Yes. It is going to be a body corporate, meaning that it has statutory functions, and it is not going to be a department of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
That's excellent.
It is going to get its budget from government, so it's not like it's an independent government entity. but they will be able to make decisions on their own and carry their own seal, etc. And services are expected to improve in that context.
Excellent.
Then you have the DRT, the Disability Rights Tribunal, which is the institution that has been mandated in the law to adjudicate on any act of discrimination against persons with disabilities. And persons with disabilities now gonna be a part of the action. They experience the disability, they carry the complaint to the JCPD. The law mandates that JCPD have to act in a particular way, whether they are going to go to alternate dispute resolution or refer the matter to the Disability Rights Tribunal. And that gives me hope, Minett, that we are going to see changes because it's an action-oriented piece of legislation.
All right. Well, that actually gives me hope too. And I thank you so much for contributing to our understanding of what is indeed a transformative piece of legislation. We got to work on the ground now to get the society to fall in line. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to speaking to you again.
Yes, man. It's always a pleasure, anytime. All right. Once I realized you were trying to get me, I said, wow, my friend was trying to get me. Let me call her back.
And I thank you so much for it. I certainly have been blessed. When I look at the regulations, I will have another conversation with you. But until then, do have a wonderful day.
You too. Bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's a bit quite close to my heart and to the children.
Yes, we can reopen the lines. I think
close to my heart and my children.
Yes.
Kind of impatient.
I do like the fact that it is structured so that persons can make a complaint on their own behalf. It ought to be so. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, good morning, Miss Minett.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, man. Blessed good morning, man, and pastor. Blessed good morning, everyone.
Righteousness and justice.
Yeah, it's a good thing because you see, family could probably, I don't think they help keep me to, the blessing, because people visually impaired people may always help them out. Even a lady named Miss Liza, she passed off already. In Scott Pass, yeah.
Oh,
so I used to help them out, and even 2 weeks ago, we just have to carry a man across the road.
So that's what we want to change.
Love when they tell me, say, God bless you, my son.
Yes, it has value.
If them even if they never give me nothing, I don't want it. When they're small and I go to school, I always carry them across the road and help them out. I go buy things for them. I don't want nothing for them. Just love when you say God bless your son, you come like that $1,000,000 you say give me.
Yes.
Because the blessing keep you, Sometimes those times you go through enough things and your life still safe. You can't go to a war and hold a thing up, man. The blessing that keep you because you don't probably something bad could happen to you in a the garage and they get to here and in a city same way. You understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so blessing come in many ways. So I always have to give thanks and love the blessing our way, to keep it. But the market now is downtown the market there now.
Yes, they said Ray. Where is that? Ray Market.
It's not Wellington Town. It's Ray Market near Coronation Market.
Yeah, Ray.
Okay, in fact, it is the Rollington Town Fire Department that responded, right?
Yes, and the Yorktown and Wellington Town Fire Department. Yes, fire truck come. You understand? Yeah, man. So yes, miss. Yeah, man. So, I arrange up the thing then because, as I say, in every community, because righteousness, I love the youth. You have to teach people about love and hope in man. Make the youth have a calmer spirit and a loving mind. And the thing we are arrange and so. It's a good thing that because God give me words and them things we can use,
Okay.
So I like anything we are part of, because the word is power. Understand? And when you use the word, by the cleanse where a man should cleanse his ways by the word of God. Understand? So we have to use the word to tell them how to clean up them way and come forward in righteousness and love and peace.
True.
So that we are used here, man, to go to pastor. So I just that way I say still and bless up.
All right.
Thank you, I have to feel something, I still have to feel something.
No, we don't forget you. We don't forget you. We made the appeal. We'll check it out for you. All right?
Yeah, man. Bless.
Righteousness. Bless you. Good.
Okay. Yeah, man. Bless.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
You know, as I was saying, Minett,
Yes.
this piece of legislation is very close to my heart because I know the struggles my daughter has had and other people who have not just been put behind to say, boy, you can't be here. And it has to be beyond the parents who are pushing. It has to be the governmental structure that enable and facilitate people. So as a member of the JD family and my sister works with the blind community, to get a doctor to authenticate
That's just nonsense.
that
It's
you are
nonsense.
so, and then even further with people
nonsense.
with intellectual disabilities.
Yeah. Well, but you see, here's the thing, and why one of the reasons why I didn't want us to get to belabor the point too much is because registration is not a requirement of entitlement to benefit. It is
Shouldn't be.
not. It can't be. I mean, it's a planning tool, and if you have it, that's
Welcome,
all good.
caller.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. How are you?
Not bad for being first on the program.
Oh, welcome.
Where you calling us
Very
from, sir?
special welcome.
In Westmoreland, Grange.
All right.
Grange Hill.
Wonderful. Welcome, sir.
We have another listener in Grange Hill. There's a blind man in Grange Hill that is our friend.
Yeah, Pastor, big up to you.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Morning. You know, something from last week, Friday, we're not getting anything from Best FM. And, you know, it's like we just stress out. Because we don't listen to other program on getting the best of the best.
Aye, thank you so much. Well, I see that it's been solved. I don't know what was happening last week, but you know, it's radio signals we use, and sometimes equipment fail for one reason or another.
And up to now, it don't come in as yet. Up to now, we not get it as music, get it as 1.5, 1.5, 1.3. We not getting anything. No signal at all. I am not getting.
So 0.3 and 0.5 not working. What signal are you? What you're getting us on now?
Nothing at all.
Oh, you just call us. All right.
And I so bad.
All right. Well, I'll certainly pass the word on. Let me just repeat it. Grange Hill, Westmoreland, not getting any signal at all. They usually get on 0.3 and 0.5. All right. So, what you want to talk to us about this morning?
Well, I just called them to talk to them about it.
All right.
Oh,
Lord.
All right, brother.
All right, sir. We put the word out. Thank you so much for letting us know.
Thank you very much.
Have a blessed day.
Wow.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, Miss Minett. How are you doing?
I am well, thank you.
Good morning.
First time calling.
From where? You might ask.
Thank you. Always listen to the program. Very interesting.
Where you calling us from, my dear lady? If you don't mind telling us.
St. Elizabeth,
Okay.
Santa Cruz.
All right. So I must call you Santa Cruz lady then.
Yeah, as a lawyer, Miss Lynette,
Yes.
a question.
Sure.
Hello?
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
here, we're
I'm
here.
waiting on your question.
Okay, yeah. NWC
Yeah.
applying for water from them, and someone else was on the property, but they left back bill,
Yeah.
and they are saying that it has to pay up before the new owner can get it.
Oh, so you purchased the land, or you're just
No.
you're the occupant? You're a tenant?
Family. No, it was will to my sister.
Yes. But you know, one of the protections that NWC enjoy is that water services delivered to the land, they run with the land, meaning it's like taxes. Whoever take over the land, take over the responsibility for the back bill.
taxes on everything.
Sometimes they will negotiate with you if it is a really big sum, and but really, when you take over the land, a part of your responsibility is to ensure that the outgoing person has cleared whatever. Yes. So, is it a very large sum?
Yeah, it's 70 something thousand.
Yeah, that is good money. You have to try and negotiate with them, see if what they can do, or if you can find the person who created the
They're not
liability.
gonna pay it because they did not even say, because when asked about it before they left, they were denying as in there wasn't there
As if
anything
there wasn't,
there.
yes.
Okay.
But all the time there was an account there. Yeah.
Best thing is negotiations.
You have to negotiate with them. How old is the bill? Because sometimes it's statute barred and they mean they couldn't even sue for it.
I think they said it's from 2017.
Oh, so it's not yet statute barred.
Okay.
Okay, more than that.
Depending on when in 2017. If you can wait them out and if you can, I won't say anymore. Tell them it's statute barred.
Oh, so you have up to what whole length of time?
It's what, 6 years? 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
Is it 6 or 7? I've forgotten. 7 years. Yeah.
Madam Santa, anything else on your mind you want to say to us? As we move to the next one.
No, but I will try and call again.
Yes, tell them it's statute barred, and since they can't sue for it, they need to make a deal with you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
And all the world. Yeah, this is Irvine calling.
How are you, my brother?
Yeah, I just hear Pastor was asking a question to Maris. If the thing start yet, but it look like him never hear. Come in and say that there's something not start yet.
If what start yet?
The council.
Oh, no. In fact, he didn't. What he said is that it will be. So we know it never started yet. What he was saying indicated that.
Yeah, that's how I say afterwards. But I say, all of them things with them are deal with.
Yes.
You put it 5 years.
Yeah, he say you have to reassess. He knows that it is not a quick thing.
Yeah.
You have are you advocating for any person with disability?
Yeah, I'm not myself and many other people, because if I am unable to do something like to get a lawyer, to get to do some government thing,
yes.
I am disabled, don't it?
Well, no.
Yes. Yeah, then let me disabled because I should be.
The producer is saying you might be unable, but you're not disabled.
Yeah, you know. But just because of them, I'm not able to do what I'm supposed to do.
All right.
But still, I hear them saying, like them go around the country and say a blind man. And them not try to help him because them are saying him not register.
No, in fact, I was very careful to try and highlight that.
No, but that is what happened.
That is what is happening in your. You have seen that happen, where persons are not getting help because they're not registered with the council.
That has been happening for years and years. Because even now, you have to register. Because if you go somewhere, anywhere at all you go.
Yeah, well, let us make it clear. Let's make it clear so you. I want to make it clear, my brother, and you should understand it as such. The law does not require registration. Registration is being promoted as a tool to enable effective planning. That's the law. So if government or the council itself is saying I can't represent you unless you're registered, or anyone is blocking access to the benefits because you're not registered, that in itself is discrimination and it is unlawful. And it's good for people to know that. If you're registered, all good and well, it makes certain things easier. But registration is not a requirement for you to access the benefits of the law.
All right.
And it's all those things they're doing, and we don't have nobody to really stand up with the poor young. We don't have some people attack and now work, make some way to it. The only man, if you're a man when it's like the Aguiar, he's a man who makes it mean things, you know.
Yeah.
Business, you know. He's not another man like him, you know, because he's a man who stand up doing right.
Okay.
All right, my brother, I know you stand up for your rights too. We're going to take a station break now because we've gone past the 9:30 hour.
But thank you for calling.
All right, yeah?
All right. Thanks,
you.
my brother.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2¼ Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3, believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station. Moving.
It's my station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM, keep listening.
Half a tree. 100, 200. Ready, mama? Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Just pay your dues, my friend. Take my medical news. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor, come to meet my patient. Oh, doctor.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
Best 100 FM.
Greetings. Bitter Sugar returns to Best FM Wednesdays 6 to 8 p.m. Tune in as we put forward Bitter Sugar. Yes, your host, Brother Miguel Lorne, as we ride. This is education, African fundamentalism, purity of the race, self-reliance, repatriation. These are topics we're going to go into. Tune in, Best FM, as we put forward Bitter Sugar once more.
Isn't it strange how princesses and kings?
Vejan Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Vejan Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. We do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Pleasant good morning, Queen. And greetings to you,
I've heard
Pastor.
this
How is
voice in a
everything?
long time.
Boy, a long time we no hear no bridging. You take a journey?
No, boy, it's like when you see the heap of wickedness and corruption and evil going in my country, it's like talking can't change the solution or stop the solution. So, the only solution when we decide to do to stop it is only one solution can solve Jamaican problem.
What is
because yesterday when I look around and I see the government say it takes 4 years for them to decide to put on $2,000 on Jamaican salary.
It's
great. It's embarrassing. Big man, I don't know what's going on in Jamaica, but for some reason, if you are going to give Jamaican people $9,000 a week, when $2,000 of the bus fare, sometimes $3,000, $2,000 of the lunch, a $5,000 gone out of 9. People have rent, light bill, kids to send to school, food to buy for kids. They have responsibilities. Some of them to a partner, some in a drink out. How the people must manage? How their kids must survive? That's why crime in Jamaica is so rampant, because the government not supposed to go and pay these people that is not employed to go and farm the land and plant food. Pay them to plant food. Instead of no, they're importing this, importing that, and all kind of thing while the citizens of the country do not have a job, and then they hand up paying them. Less than $60 US. Less than $60 US, the minimum wage is. $57 and some cents US. Tell me now. Gas raise every day. A loaf of bread is almost $500. A pound of chicken gone to $200, going at $300. So tell me now, how Jamaican people, what one pound of oxtail, how much it gone to a pound of mutton? So how $9,000 can help the citizens of Jamaica country? And then these people come and say, oh, it is a livable wage.
It's not a livable wage.
A livable wage. What do you mean by that?
Live where?
No, but it.
That's
But,
a livable wage, meaning the people can't survive with that.
No, sir.
No, man.
Corruption and evil and wickedness.
They know that. They know that. So when they talk about.
People rob some poor people. Every department in Jamaica, the government rob them. The housing trust, they rob this, they rob that. And then they take the money and do evil. It's the PSOJ and the private sector and there's people who sit down and negotiate for Jamaican salary and some wicked corrupt systems and people them. I want every single Jamaican listen to me when I said to you. This morning,
okay.
I live in a capital, Kingston, and live in a every parish away from Manchester. I want you to move at least 10 miles out of the city because I'm about to sink the Jamaica Parliament under the sea. I'm about to turn Jamaica upside down with the earthquake.
Yeah, prophetically, you are saying that based on the wickedness that's here, you think judgment is coming on the nation.
It's on the nation right now. I just my foot to take off of the break. I release the earthquake. Come here, turn Jamaica country upside down. Me a sink it completely. Me a wipe it off of the map. And when left, we rebuild it.
But that means
Manchester
Manchester,
Manchester going to be the safest parish from the tsunami. Everybody in the capital, Kingston, live from Stony Hill upwards.
Yes.
Lawrence Tavern to Golden Spring Temple outside. Let me tell you something, man. When I done it to Jamaica, me the Father have mercy for the survivor them. Because I'm going to take this thing for a joke thing.
All right.
Who don't care the citizens in them and do this? Who don't inject virus in them? And I turn around now the government has to spend $1 billion for the HIV program. $1 billion. How many people are inject with the HIV virus? I tell them about
all right. My brother, hold on. My brother, all right. But what you're saying, you know.
I'm here rotting right now.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
It's not a livable wage. We're not fooled by it.
We agree that it's not a livable wage.
Nobody is fooled by it.
Yeah.
And I feel your rage, and I hear you say you kept quiet because it was too much. And now you're speaking, and it is still too much.
It's still too much.
The people that go through suffering, and then I inject them a wear mask, and them a certificate them long, and there's no government to tell them to stop wearing the mask. And then they lock them up and I charge them how much money for mask. And no send of COVID now out there. And wicked the people and wicked and evil, man. And if you sit down and allow it, Mr. Me wipe the House of Parliament after the mask completely.
All right.
Jamaica country, man, every month
but
crumble.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, my brother.
So we're going to read Revelation 16, verse 18.
All right.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you. You can hear the frustration.
Yes. And
in his voice. And the truth is, we have to be just. His throne is built on righteousness and justice. And saying $9,000, no. After 4 years,
no, man,
15,000 people are saying that at least.
But you know my views already. I think Jamaicans who know says foolishness need to just do better by one another.
That's what I'm at. Yeah. But the government says the parameters are.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, just look at the records again. What is the aim of the
1660
groups? What is it?
1660. It is 60 community projects for our 60th year of independence. We are calling on all Jamaicans. It really begins with us on the ground in community. So you go through your community, look at something that you want to change, bring people around about that idea. It could be in education, social ill, whatever it is. That's what it is about change. Something that is visible, that people can say, we were this and now we are that because of the input of Jamaicans who care about Jamaica.
That's a noble idea, but listen, man. I personally am not going to join no group at all unless it's a pressure group to pressure the government to do what they're supposed to do. Listen, you see the private sector organization in Jamaica, the Chamber of Commerce and all them things there, those groups. I don't see them doing nothing at all in terms of the infrastructure and not at all the social and anything. All they do is pressure the government
and that's
to
not
do what they want the government to do.
Right, that's not surprising. They are they have their own agendas.
Well, our agenda should be just like that. Pressure the government to do the things that's supposed to be done by the government.
Well, let me just throw something
but
on here.
No wrong with that if he puts together
that
a group.
Pressure group, and that's what it is. That's okay. It could be one of the 60 group that is a pressure group about what
Change
we need
something
to think.
if there's a market in your community, road, whatever it is,
pressure
that is in an
pressure
unacceptable
group.
state, find your 10 people, because you can register the group, bring money to it, and be very effective in changing things on the ground. That is what we're advocating.
I want to see the focus of all the groups that are going to farm as a pressure group.
Okay.
Pressure the government.
All right. So here's what I'm saying to you, my brother. Focus on
in terms of legislation.
Focus on the group that you are going to form, because we're talking about personal responsibility and involvement. You're gonna form a group and let it be your pressure group. Somebody else may form a group to build a park. Somebody else may form a group to get a road fixed. Somebody else may form a group to set up something to deal with young children in their community. Each community must look at its needs, select something that it wants to do, and get that done.
We need to speak with one voice, though. I don't believe in the segmentation.
Why we need to speak with one voice and we have different needs?
When the private sector speak, they don't speak with one voice.
But we're not trying to replicate what the Prime Minister does or what government does.
But you see, they are getting results. We're not getting no results.
They are getting results.
No results at all, you know?
I thought the confusion on our side is because they are not getting results. They're in charge of government to bring about a certain level of change and prosperity in the country. Are the people prosperous?
No, because the government is not on our side.
Yeah, but what you mean when you say they're getting results?
When the private sector already, they lobby the government. See the bankers can lobby the government. Remember one time when Peter Phillips was Minister of Finance, and he said he wanted to take $1 out of the banking system. And the whole banking system come down, everybody come in and withdraw that.
Well, listen, a part of what each group will do
will
lobby for whatever they require from government to accomplish their objective. But that's not all that it is.
Who want to join those type of little splinter groups can anything I have joined is must be
but we're not inviting you to join anything.
to do what it's supposed to do.
Self-interest. We're not inviting you to join anything, We're inviting you to create your own group to accomplish something for yourself, for your community. That's what we are encouraging you to do.
I want to see some pressure group build up in this country, just like all the private sector.
We're going to take another call because we're not.
All right, so you form your pressure group, and I tell you, if you form a pressure group out of Portmore, the government will listen to you.
And we'll support you in that effort.
Yeah, man.
Because if you're a part of what we're trying to spark, then you have our support.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Good.
Thank you. All right, let me just give some love to the people online. Tumblebug Perry said there's a medicine man.
Good morning. Welcome, caller.
All right. Morning, Pastor.
Good
morning, sir.
Morning, Mrs. Lawrence and Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Good to hear from you.
Christian, the minimum wage, who is it in the government that sit down and create these figures that poor people can survive?
You ask yourself that question. We don't know. We know there's a minimum wage advisory group and they make their recommendations, and it's supposed to bring in people from the different sectors that have to pay, like the security people, because the first salvo that was filed came from the security group in saying 9,000. We said, oh, that's where they have agreed on, and
well,
other people have said it. Yeah.
So, caller, do you think it reflects reality?
No, obviously, Mrs. Lawrence, any dead person without, dead person not bringing it. I mean, obviously, we have a dunce government. As simple as that. As the man say, these people are not here to eradicate poverty. They are not. Because, Mrs. Lawrence, I can say it to you again, I do not pay rent. From about one time I pay rent. You know, pay light, I pay water. The company pay for that. And when I go to the supermarket just to pick up snacks, so I'm a late person watching TV. When I pick up 2 little snacks, it's like 1,000. And you remember Mike Henry told us that he's not living in a squalor. Remember, we take a much $1 million gift to a thieving friend at Petrojam, and we came back and give a much $1 million to a thieving friend at Ministry of Education. Obviously, we are not here for the Jamaican people. So, I mean, one people. So, in other words, we take away the poor people from that mainly. So, it's one to the people. We need to do something, man. Gas raise every day. I just drop off something for a friend, and I'm going to tell you how I shoot pass. But vex, because I drop off a thing, and I am in traffic, and I say, no, I have 2 vehicles, and obviously I plan now, say, I want, because these people cannot. Andrew came, and then we have a basket to us. All now, the trimming took place, I'm going to want to go over the place, Andrew dumb. The food going up every second, Andrew dumb. The Ministry of Finance dumb. The police out there, stand up half a tree, 1 million, them I call it, I extort the people and tax for government, crime going up. Get these police out to the neighborhood.
Yeah,
but
that's a solution.
Everything is pressure. Everything, and we are not doing nothing, and they know these things. You can't train police to fight crime. I have them, I saw half a tree because I have them, I say I stop every camera. Every camera, almost every camera and stuff. So obviously, you are there to extort the people and bringing in money for the government.
Revenue
where
collection.
All of these money going on as well. The bush doctor say on this man, we need to take back Jamaica.
Okay.
PNP don't mean us any good.
Agreed, my brother.
We agreed enough. So what we are saying.
It's the how of it.
So what we are saying as we come into the break, as we come into the close of the program, actually, my brother, and there's one more call. The question that we're asking you have been very vocal. What are you going to do in terms of doing something about it? Because we can do.
But I'll tell you something. This new party, now if I do no promotion to me, I will never ever vote for Andrew Willis now, JLC.
Okay.
If I ever for walk to Portmore, I take my vote, I live in town, and I have a house in Portmore, I will walk to Portmore to vote for this new man. And now if I do no promotion, have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning, love and bless. What going on?
We're good, African. What's up?
Hey, man, it's good to be here, it's the first time that I've done so the whole of people in Jamaica come together. Huh?
When did you have that vision? Recently or a long time ago?
First night down here.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So you see a change happening.
Yeah, I see a full change. Yeah.
Let's be a part of it.
Why we really want to change, You see, when the election run, I'm going to vote for the PNP in the JLP. You see, any one of them will win. You know what them do? Then go over King's House. Go pack up over there and swear to serve the Queen.
Okay.
You don't know that, Miss Minett?
Well, we
know that.
That is the change that we're all looking for.
Serve the people of Jamaica.
Huh?
That's what the change need to happen, that we come together, whoever, and say we are serving the people of Jamaica. And that is a shift in focus in mentality, because it means everything that you are doing, you are thinking firstly about the people of Jamaica, how you can make their lives better.
Yes.
That's
because when they go to serve the Queen, serve the Queen first.
Yeah.
And then we know what them treat like slaves, because them are a new slave master, The PNP and the JLP are a new slave master. $7,000 a week to bet in.
Well, it's now 9, which.
And then now you come after better. 4 years, you put on 2,000.
Yeah.
And then whisper, you make sure that no harm to you and your family, The PNP and the JLP make sure that they're not hearing that,
Yeah.
So when you ask Jamaica people them now, we're not interested in working for nobody again. We want rights to the land. Jamaica people need the rights to own land in Jamaica. Own the land. Who are the owner for the land in Jamaica, Miss Minett?
All Jamaicans, my brother. But
that's on the record,
I suspect what you're talking about is something slightly different.
We need legislation and law. So we have the right to own the land. We have the right to own a home. The people have no right to own any home. Everybody lives on the street.
rent house. Majority of the people in Jamaica pay rent and not pay rent on the street. That's why the government all the while and turn on a call with squatters.
Okay. All right.
And that is not right.
Okay.
We cannot power and then as soon as they go in there call with squatter.
But African, we have the opportunity now to move in a very intentional way towards better use of land, put in place a policy that deals with the land that falls within the public domain. We have the opportunity through the leaders that we select, the advocacy that we mount, how we engage with them. And we have some of these very powerful points that are made on the call-in programs and so on. We got to shift from making the advocacy in this medium to getting it in the right place. So that, yes, because across the country, all the time we're seeing where people with better political connections than some of us are gaining access to land. And we are over in one side, and I include myself in that group, though I don't really, I'm really not in the same situation. But then you have others of us over one side just talking about wanting to own land. It's not difficult to own land, and it's not difficult to get access to land. But it requires planning and it requires effort, and we've got to get there.
Majority of our people, Miss Minett, would like to have the land to work it.
Can I tell you something, African? Can I tell you something? I've been in a position of creating an opportunity for people to own land, and hundreds signed up, and then one by one, when they saw what it took, they drop out, took back their deposit and went their way. So ownership of land is not difficult, but you've got to be committed and you have to do what it takes. I got to leave you now, my brother, because we're in the final minutes, and there's a song I've asked them to play, and I want to hear it. But stay tuned. We'll be at Ligani Club tomorrow. Yes, sir.
Miss Minett, good to be here.
All right, my brother.
All right, then, African. Bless you.
Yeah.
Give thanks, Reverend.
That's an important point you make. That is why.
Oh,